Shenanigans, thanks for joining me. This is a two-part live pertaining to the murder of suicide of Vicky White, a deputy that broke out an inmate by the name of Casey White, no relation, in an Alabama jail. He's now being charged with her suicide. And when you listen to the commentary, the district attorney is making it appear that it wasn't a suicide, although her death was ruled a suicide by a medical examiner. But state law says he can be charged because this was a crime. Although it derived out of Alabama, he was being sought as a fugitive, so was she, for aiding a fugitive, so they can charge him. You're entitled to your opinion. After I give my commentary, I would like you all to answer the question, yes or no. Do you think Casey White should be charged in the death of Vicky White? Second part of this live is pertaining to Summer Wells. Tomorrow marks the 15th of the month, July, and it will be 13 months to the date that Summer Wells went missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee. And we will talk about where you think the case is going, where it is not going. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.
Under Alabama code, a person can be charged with felony murder if during the commission of a felony crime like escape, they cause the death of someone else. Well, of course, Casey White is already charged with breaking out of the Lauderdale County Jail back in April with the assistance of then Deputy Vicky White. 11 days later, investigators tracked them down nearly 5 hours away in Evansville, Indiana. At the end of that chase, Vicky White died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. However, today, the Lauderdale County DA told me that they do not believe she committed suicide. So they convinced a grand jury to indict Casey White in Vicky White's death, something that longtime defense attorney Richard Jaffe says is quite unique.
I have never seen nor heard nor read of any case where a felony murder was charged when a suicide occurred during the course of the crime.
Well, the other question I had was about jurisdiction. How could Casey White be charged in Alabama when Vicky White died in Indiana? Well, the prosecutor told me that the 11-day manhunt was a continuation of the original escape crime here in Alabama, providing the necessary legal link to White's death nearly 300 miles away. Live in Birmingham, John Pack, WVTM 13.
All right, everybody, that's WVTM 13 News. If you need a source, one moment, please. This is very interesting information coming out of Alabama. Thank you all for joining me, tuning in. Just 1 second, please, while I get everything together. Thank you all so much for following the content. One second. All right. All right, everybody. I'm going to read you some commentary pertaining to the law, because this is a very interesting crime. So, Lauderdale District Attorney believes that Vicky didn't kill herself. So that means you're implying that Mr. Casey did. You found 12 members of a grand jury to say yay. So now he's being charged with her murder. He's pled not guilty. Naturally, he would plead not guilty. What do you think? Did she kill herself or not? I think she didn't want to go to jail. She knew what jail was like. She worked as a deputy, so why would she want to go to jail? You heard her in the audio telling him to turn around and go back to the hotel. She was scared. She feared for her life, livelihood. But all of this is contradictory because you're trying to get in the mind of a person to say, why did you even go forward in breaking him out in the first place? Why would you break out a felon? Why did you think you were going to have a relationship with him outside of a jail? Why would you sell your house, leave your mother, your dog? Why would you do all of those things for somebody you do not know? Whether you talk to him on the phone, by letter, you still didn't know him. The man has been accused of murdering a woman, viciously breaking into her home. Other said crimes. So why in the world would you even talking to him? And everybody deserves friendship, love, but that is the obvious question most sane people are going to ask, because you know you're going to be judged according to who you talk to, who you date, sleep with, marry, all of that. And some people will question, why would you want to talk to a felon? Why would you want to take up with a felon? Why would you date a felon? It's all the same, because there are people who've committed heinous crimes and they've done a lot of time in jail or less amount of time in jail, prison, and they're free and they're out here dating, mating, making children, all of that. She can't answer anything because she's deceased. So did he kill her in that car? But as I said in that audio, you could tell she was scared. And you knew her mind was gone when she said, turn around, go back to the hotel. Go back to what? They were going to follow you out of there, no matter where you went. You either going to die at the hotel, shot up, or you gave up peacefully, or you killed yourself there. But you can hear it in her voice in that audio. She feared for her life. But that is the decision that Vicky made when she decided to aid a felon out of jail. That was her choice. That was her choice. And that's what this lawyer is saying here, and you will hear it in more commentary, that it is a choice to kill yourself. Nobody put a gun to your head and shot you. You chose to do this crime, break out a felon. You tried to evade police. They're ramming the car with their truck, U.S. Marshals. You're talking to him in the car, and then boom, gunshot, she's dead. Car wrecked, he's alive, she's dead. And the medical examiner says she killed herself. You're entitled to believe what you want. One moment, please. We're going to bring you some information pertaining to this case. You tell me what you think. CNN.com is the source. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to turn this Bluetooth off. Ex-fugitives murder charge in Alabama jailer suicide has attorneys scratching their heads. This was uploaded yesterday. A murder charge and a suicide? The latest development in the case of Casey White, a one-time fugitive charged with killing the jailer who helped him escape, is a first for many legal minds. Aided by Lauderdale County Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White, 56, to whom he was not related, Casey White, 38, escaped in April, spurring an 11-day manhunt, which ended in a May 9th car chase in Indiana. When police apprehended Casey White, they found Vicky White had suffered a gunshot wound to the head. She died later at a hospital, and the coroner ruled her death a suicide. Yet on Monday, Casey White, it's jumping off. On Monday, he was served with an arrest warrant on a felony murder charge. The Lauderdale County, Alabama District Attorney's Office said the indictment, according to court documents, alleged while committing the crime of first-degree escape, Casey White had caused the death of Vicky White. I don't know why this article keeps jumping off. Sorry about that. Strange. All right, everybody. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's acting up. When lawyers think of felony murder, they often think of a scenario in which, for example, a robber accidentally kills a bystander in a shootout with police, or perhaps a getaway driver kills a pedestrian during her or his escape. Alabama's code states first-degree escape is one of many precursors to felony murder if, in the course of and furtherance of the crime that he or she is committing or attempting to commit, or in immediate flight therefrom, he or she or another participant, if there may be any, causes the death of any person, quote unquote. Casey White's 5-person legal team, which includes 2 lawyers who have handled hundreds of murder cases in Alabama, has never encountered such a case, said Nick Lowe, one of White's attorneys. We believe this is the first time we've encountered this issue, said co-counsel Mark Helstowski. They're not the only ones. Richard Jaffe represented Olympic Park bomber Eric Rudolph, along with scores of other clients facing the death penalty in state and federal cases, 22 of which he ushered through trial. He never heard of a case like this one, he said. If we are zeroing in on suicide, I've never heard of that. I know of none, he said. The same holds true for Tiffany Agee, a Birmingham-based criminal lawyer and professor at Miles Law School in Fairfield. Logically, how can I intentionally cause something that requires you to do it to yourself, she asks. Her research yielded 2 cases involving suicide pacts, but one of those cases is almost 70 years old and the other was adjudicated more than a century ago. And Alabama law dealt with suicide differently back then, she said. Agee did find a case from the 1980s in which the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals reversed the guilty verdict of a man convicted of criminally negligent homicide on the basis of the suicide of his friend's brother, which occurred when the victim continued to play Russian roulette after the defendant had quit and put the gun away, according to a case summary. The court reversed the verdict, saying the defendant had not influenced or overcome the victim's free will, Agee said, which could come into play in Casey White's case. If prosecutors can prove Casey White influenced Vicky White to the point that she killed herself, they might have a case with an emphasis on might, she said. The prosecutors of the state will have a difficult time, she said. The analysis has to be. He influenced her to the point that he caused her suicide, and I think that's going to be difficult. That's going to be the difficult part when she clearly had a lot of free will. In Alabama, prosecutors would actually have an easier case if police had accidentally killed the former jailer during the pursuit, Jaffe said. That works for felony murder in Alabama, he said. To prove that it was foreseeable and that someone was going to commit suicide, that's a stretch. Jaffe won't rule it out, he said, because Alabama has one of the broadest, most aggressive felony murder statutes in the nation. As for the possibility new information emerged from the coroner's ruling indicating Vicky White didn't pull the trigger, Jaffe doesn't believe it is a possibility. The information would have to be handed to the defense in discovery, and if prosecutors had such evidence, he said, they likely would have charged Casey White with murder, felony murder, and capital murder. Possible, yeah. Is it likely? I say it's highly unlikely, he said. White was already facing murder counts. Asked if he'd seen any evidence Vicky White did not commit suicide, Lowe said prosecutors handed over their discovery Tuesday, and reviewing discovery in any murder case typically takes hours and hours. The legal team has requested a copy of Vicky White's autopsy report. It said in a statement, and Helstowski expects to learn, as widely reported in the media, she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, he told CNN. We want to see the autopsy report because the autopsy report will be a key piece of evidence. We want to show members of the jury why she died, how she died, he said, explaining he wouldn't discuss trial strategy and was barred from discussing certain details of the case. It's important for the jury to see and understand. Vicky White's mother could not be reached for her reaction to the charges. A woman answering the phone at a number linked to the mother hung up when a reporter asked to speak with her. At the time of his escape, Casey White was already serving a 75-year prison sentence for a crime spree in 2015, which included a home invasion and carjacking, the U.S. Marshal Service said. Casey White also stands accused of murder in a separate case, the 2015 stabbing of Connie Ridgway in Rogersville. He initially confessed, authorities said, before recanting. He was awaiting trial when authorities said he and Vicky White left Lauderdale County Detention Center on April 29th in what they described as a well-planned escape. Ridgway's son, Austin Williams, has been informed Casey White will stand trial in his mother's slaying at the end of the year, he said. Earlier this year, Williams described his mom as a sweet, patriotic woman who never forgot birthdays during an interview with CNN. And in this article, you will see Miss Connie Ridgway with both her sons, Cameron and Austin Williams, in the photograph. December can't come soon enough. We need answers. We don't know much more then the public knows. Why our mother? And how can anyone harm her? If he is guilty, justice need to be served, he texted Wednesday. Asked his thoughts on the murder charges in Vicky White's death, Williams said, our hearts go out again to Vicky and her family and friends. She was a beloved member of the community. We were surprised at the news of Casey's indictment for her felony murder. However, it seems like a very reasonable case for a jury to decide. There are no words for the turmoil caused by Casey and Vicky's plot to escape. We're still anxiously waiting justice for Connie Ridgway. This information I brought to you is by CNN. I think it's very interesting here that he speaks of Vicky in a very positive light, considering she helped aid this man out of jail who is believed to have killed his mother, their mother. So you see, some people can still have positive commentary about people who have done wrong. And Vicky was wrong for aiding Mr. White out of that jail. And in the end, she lost her life. And it is believed by her own doing, not by Casey White. Very wicked situation. I'd like to take a count in the chat. It's only a few of you in here. 32, 16 thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. How many of you believe he should be charged with her death? What a call. Ahmad and see. Just want to take notes right quick. Thank you all for joining me. How many of you in the chat thinks he should be charged? Hello?
Hey.
Hey, I was trying to see if I can get somebody else to take notes. Well, we only have 32 viewing, so maybe not. Do you think he should be charged with her murder? Her death, rather?
No.
Okay.
He didn't pull the trigger.
Okay.
I heard something in an article somewhere there on YouTube I know where it was. I think it was Mr. Judy Ron.
Okay.
He was saying that, I guess him, Casey, and Vicky had a pact that if they were to get caught, that they were going to kill themselves. She was going to shoot herself, and he was going to have a shootout.
But who? But how? Nobody knows that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure where he got that from. He said
that information. Listen, the information I just read, they're talking about somebody else. So I don't know if he misunderstood that or not. But nobody has any proof to that, and he's never going to tell that because he's pled not guilty.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think he killed her. I don't think he should. I mean, if he did not kill her, I take that back. That's not what I meant. I think that if it comes out that he killed her, then he should be prosecuted. If he really didn't, then we have to chop it up as.
Well, but the medical examiner already ruled it a suicide. So I don't understand how the grand jury was able to vote yes. That's where the conflict comes in.
That's just strange to me that the examiner was able to, say no, she killed herself. So.
Well, that's his job.
Yeah.
Is to give a rendering of death. But Alabama has strict laws, so they're going by their laws, but they're not following what is said in the autopsy report. So basically, this seems more he's a bad guy. She aided him out. We have strict laws in Alabama that says if you aid a fugitive or go along with somebody or other people get killed in the commission of a crime, a murder happens in the commission of a crime. That's basically what the law says. But the medical examiner says she killed herself. So it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up too because the crime took place in Indiana, not Alabama as well. But Alabama says in the commission. So I guess it means it doesn't matter if we were chasing you, you were in Alabama or wherever. It's very strange.
I think when they go to when they go to trial, if it does end up going to trial, that at the end of the day, they're going to have to end up taking what this medical examiner says, because he is the doctor. He is the one that made the ruling. You know, so then it's going to boil down to, okay, what does the law say? You know, does the law say that, yes, we can charge you with a crime in the midst of you guys doing another act, another criminal activity? Well, if that's the case, then I guess the law is the law. They're just going to do what they want anyway.
Well, my thing is, why would he shoot her?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if that's what they want to believe, although the autopsy says otherwise. Why would he want to shoot her? Because people were arguing that in the beginning. And I asked people, why do you think he would shoot her? Why would he shoot her? He's already in a bad situation. He's driving a car. So I'm trying to figure out how he would have had time to have a gun. Try to drive a car and get away from the marshals, also holding a gun and steering wheel.
I don't know. That don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because if I'm trying to get away, I'm not trying to hold a gun and drive at the same time, if indeed he was the driver.
It's going to be a mess.
And there was an argument of that. Who was driving? Who was driving?
I think they said that he was driving, right?
Right, so that's what I'm saying. If he was driving, then why would he have a gun in his hand? He's trying to steer the wheel so he can get away. I think holding the gun would be obtrusive. It would be in the way.
Well, you know, and I'm sure they tested his hands for gunshot.
Exactly. And hers.
Yeah.
And the muzzle wherever she shot herself. And if she had powder on her own hands. And I know people should know that.
I think people are just looking at like him as an overall person, as an overall.
That's what I think. I think that's what the 12 members weighed their decision on.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, because he's already got another trial coming up this year for the murder of Miss Ridgway, but he's recanted that murder confession. And then he's doing 75 years for the crime spree in that same year, 2015. He was just a busy bee.
Yeah, you know, he was just a criminal. That was his lifestyle. That's all he was out in life to do was to.
Yeah, well, he's an addict, so
Yeah.
people that use drugs will resort to committing crimes to get their drugs. I'll tell you the one thing I found interesting during this whole chase on that fateful day is the fact that they didn't shoot back at the police. Now they got all these guns in their house, in their car, but yet there was no shootout. And people always assume that's what would happen because he did that before in the 2015 crimes. And then she had all these guns she's purchased, guns she already had. So the logical mind would say, well, why didn't they shoot out? Because maybe they aren't what people perceive them. Not saying they were decent people. She was a half-assed decent person that lost her mind somewhere down the road to aid this man out of jail. He's a criminal. But in the end, with all this artillery in the car, there was no shootout. Why not? I wonder why she didn't shoot back at the police. Huh?
I think she was scared.
I think she was too.
I don't think that was her lifestyle. Yes, she made the stupid, conscious decision of helping this man get out of, escape.
Very stupid, very stupid.
Absolutely asinine, and she lost her mind for doing it.
Mm.
But I don't think that she was the other type of criminal. You know what I mean? Like the murdering type. I don't think that was her intention.
Yeah.
She was probably scared shitless.
Well, you could tell her in her voice she was in the audio. She kept telling him to turn around. That lets you know she was scared. She kept saying, turn around, go back to the hotel. And I thought, this lady was delusional. There's no going back.
And that is like in her innocent mind. You know what I mean? Like she knew what she was doing was wrong. And she was thinking, oh, hell, we better turn around and go back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's why I knew her mind. I know she willfully knew what she was doing, but in that moment, it was as if she was delusional to think that she was going to be able to he was going to be able to turn that car around. He's being chased by federal agents or marshals, whatever. So how's he going to turn the car around? You're still going to be chased by the police. You then going to do what? Go to the parking lot, park it, and think they weren't going to shoot you trying to exit the car? You're going to take off running? But her mind was obviously, diluted. She's diluted. Her mind was gone.
She definitely lost her mind with the whole helping him escape. I don't know what the hell she thought or what she was even thinking. Like they were going to live this life together forever. And, I mean, she had to have been delusional just to think about that.
Yeah, well, she was.
Assume that was going to happen.
She was delusional because I don't understand how anybody would think, whether you're a deputy or not, or if you're just an outside person, to go on the run with somebody, and this person is wanted for some very heinous crimes and accused of another murder. Why in the world would you not think that you could end up dead alongside that person when it's time for the authorities to apprehend him and also yourself? Because now you're on the run with somebody, you know that they're in the wrong, so you are now aiding a fugitive.
I'm thinking maybe possibly she had that whole mentality of, I'm a deputy, they're going to let me off, I'm a deputy, they're not going to shoot and kill me. Maybe some of that was playing in her mind just because she was so delusional. She was trying to look at, what's not going to happen to her because of what she does for a living. She was going to try to use that card as far as she could.
Yeah, but she didn't.
No, she didn't. No. I think she was truly afraid to go to prison. That's why she shot herself.
Well, my thing is, damn, why she didn't think about that in the beginning? Whoever initiated the conversation of him breaking out, I don't know if it was she initiated or he initiated. The point is, at some point, I believe they both were in cahoots, and he knew. I don't know how she would have told him because she'd have to be alone with him to tell him, hey, on this day, I'm going to try to break you out of here. But she knew in the beginning what she was going to do when she made that sound decision to sell her goods, her home. She knew what she was in for. There's no way she could not have known that this was, there was a possibility that this was, she had to have known that there was a possibility that this would go terribly, terribly wrong.
And I wonder why she played into, let's just say he is the one that brought it to her attention, right? He is the one that probably flirted with her a little bit. She probably, or wasn't probably used to, that type of attention. And she just ran with it.
Yeah. Well, she's a woman. She's a woman, first of all, in a jail. And the men are in there who desire women, haven't had sexual relations in some time. So it wouldn't have mattered who she was. She wasn't a morning star, not to be rude, but she was a very plain looking lady. And it doesn't take much. Like they say, these men know how to finesse people. Even if it was a woman, they know how to finesse people because this is what they've done in their regular life before they were apprehended. They knew how to finesse, con, manipulate, or just take what they want.
Yeah, that's how they ended up there to begin with.
That's right. So he knew probably what to say to her. Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But another thing I had in my Rolodex, I wonder if he was the first one she's ever corresponded with, you know what I'm saying, off the clock. Did she correspond with any other inmates in the jail or prison? I'd like to know that.
And it's strange because their calls are monitored, right?
Yeah.
So when and how the hell did
That's what I said. That's what I said. But guess what? I do believe they said she did take him out one other time. Because I believe I put that in one of my videos.
It was a trial run, probably.
Yeah, I do believe they said, when all this came about, the sheriff said, yes, there was an incident where she took him out, but they were only gone a few, what I would consider a few blocks or circling a block. But like I said, even then, it doesn't matter. She still could have been asked, hey, where'd you go? Why'd you all leave out? What did the book say where they went? So see, she even took a risk then. No matter whatever the reason was that she may have put it, she may have put it down on a log. I'm taking him over here. But it's all crazy to me because she still could have got caught on this round. Or somebody else could have came into jail while they're walking out, and somebody could have said, hey, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the courthouse. Oh, I'll go with you. Then how is that going to work?
Well, and I'm surprised that nobody stopped her for taking him, or for her taking him alone.
Well, see, and that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. Nobody said anything on that morning. Nobody said anything on the morning on the, what I would consider the trial run, where the sheriff downplays that. He's too kind. He's too nice. He downplays everything because he liked her, because obviously she didn't give them any problems. But then the flip side of that is there's some guy who used to work there who said you all didn't know her. She was devious. And I'd like to know what he meant by that, because he left that open. I'd like to know, what does he know about her, and where are the receipts or whatever it is, why he made that comment about her. Because he was very adamant. And he said if you ask other people, they would tell you they're not shocked that she did this. So that leads me to wonder if she's been favoring men in the jail, if she's been deliberately flirting with them or reciprocating. It's something. It's something to that.
Maybe they've seen her and him, flirting a lot. Maybe they've seen them together in a closet, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that went on with her. But I believe there's something went on with her before he came, because that guy, he worked there before, and this is, I'm sure, way before Casey was ever, brought to the jail. I believe she was doing something there, and she got a free damn pass because of her seniority and being in good standing with the sheriff. And the fact, like they said, people making comments, well, they didn't question where she was going. Well, she should have been questioned, because if the protocol is that it's 2 officers per fugitive, then that's how it should have been. It didn't matter if it was a seniority or somebody under her. Right is right. Hey, ma'am, where's your escort? Where's your other escort?
Yeah, just weird. The whole thing, how it all played out, how it happened, are we ever going to hear, how long it had been going on? Because didn't he come from another jail?
He came from a prison. He came from a prison because of how he was being treated. He complained about how he was treated somewhere else. And I believe that's when they started concocting this farce, is when he was at the other prison. I think she held contact with him when he went back to that prison from his first time at that jail. They were talking off the clock. And I think that's when the plan got formulated for him to make his way back up there. Now, she either told him to tell his lawyers, can he get transported up here because he was facing that trial, or when he got up here, just happenstance, she fell just totally enamored because he's now closer to where she can see him. So we don't know, because she's dead, and he's never going to probably tell the truth to when this plan came into motion.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to say anything.
No, he's not.
They're going to fight that tooth and nail, and I won't be surprised if that charge gets dropped.
Well, we'll see. Alabama, as I said, as the article says, CNN, strict laws in Alabama. They're riding on the fact that she aided him out. He was a fugitive, and a murder happened while on his watch, his escape.
I was thinking yesterday when I had...
The only flip part of the story is it didn't happen in Alabama. That's where it can be argued. It didn't happen in Alabama.
What I would like to know is, are they trying to charge him with murder because she possibly has life insurance, and that death certificate has to say something? But then I look at us.
But listen, the death certificate, everything is going to come from the coroner. The coroner's already spoken.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. But then the coroner's already said what he said.
Yeah.
That death certificate's already been signed.
It's already been signed. Yeah. Once he gave the ruling, that's it. The death certificate is signed as soon as he makes the call.
Yeah.
But most insurances don't pay out if you killed yourself.
No, most do not.
And you're right. Did the mother have a policy on her, or did Vicky have a policy on herself? I don't know. Very good question. Now that would be wicked to find out this is only an iron in the fire because of some damn life insurance money. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
That would be wicked. Thank you all for joining me. This is my mod, Kinsley Masters, joining me. If you'd like to donate to the channel and the dream of everyday shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chat stickers are welcome during this live. Summer Wells, tomorrow, 13 months. What do you have to say?
I'm still waiting, to wake up one morning that they've arrested somebody. I don't know what's taking, this long. We know that they got some sort of information. I think there's just, it's a mess.
It is a mess.
Too many people have inserted themselves in this case. Neighbors and more neighbors and land buyers and grandparents.
Messy Boots is putting it mildly.
Yeah, this is just, it's sad for the little girl,
And I was looking at some mess earlier before I went live at a certain person's network, and I mean just video, all about these damn neighbors. I thought, what is your deal with these people?
Yeah.
Just how many times can you talk to these people, talk about these people? I mean, just keep making videos about these damn people. I don't get it. It'd be different if the people were bringing something tangible pertaining to the child to where you can just keep talking. But it's nothing about. It's about her parents. It's not about her. What you saw her do.
It's not even about her brothers. All 4 of these kids are gone, right? 3 are with CPS, and the little girl, she's probably deceased. We're not gonna. None of this is any longer about these kids. It hasn't been about them at all for a very long time. People have inserted themselves and brought up shit that is completely irrelevant. And I don't think that, people have kept her name alive for the right reason.
Yeah. I just don't understand how you just keep talking to the same people over and over, digging up all these neighbors. It's like, we're just going to go down every damn door, banging on the door to ask to speak to somebody that probably don't even know these damn people, the Wells, yeah. And I just don't understand. You're just beating a dead horse. Talking about everybody else's boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. What is the point to all of that? Because everything that you're making is on an allegation that somebody is putting out about their ex. It has nothing to do with the child. If you saw something going on with the child, then you can back it up with a receipt and say, yeah, I called CPS, or I called the police, or I saw them doing this to the child. I saw this with my own eyes. It'd be different. And still in the end, it still would be your version. But all this other stuff is about everybody's boyfriend, girlfriend, ex. I'm just like, man, you just wearing it down and don't even care.
Yeah.
Oh, where is Summer Wells? Where is Summer Wells? Man, you don't care nothing about that little girl.
Nope, not at all.
You're talking to everybody, but who you should be talking to, which would be the mother and the father and the grandmother. But you want to talk to Bubba Ray and Susie Mae. I don't get it.
And people are giving, that neighbor so much limelight.
But everybody's done it. Let's keep it real now. Everybody's done it. All the people that jumped in and put themselves in the case, all the messy platforms that went chasing it behind. Anybody with a pulse, they're all sick to me. They're all sick to me.
And now that woman sits up on her own channel for 10, 12 hours at a time, and allow for people to keep going over there and allowing her to have a platform by listening to her. Like, what the hell are you listening to her for? She has brought nothing to the table. The report that she made, the claim that she made about the scream, that's been unfounded, that has never been confirmed by law enforcement. So therefore, anything that broad says is not the truth.
No, you didn't say.
Moment.
No, you did not say broad. I did.
I could have called her something real bad.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Oh God, I'm dead.
No,
Not that broad. Well, you know, I will call you out and call you a dizzy broad. Cause that's what I think of when I think about her. A dizzy broad. Go ahead. It's coffee time. Go ahead, baby.
It's like, what the hell do you want to go over there and see that chick some views for some crap that doesn't even make any sense? Nothing that she says is relevant. Because guess what? We're at 13 months tomorrow and we still don't got the little girl. And we are no closer than we were before. So therefore, anything that chick says is irrelevant. Disgusting.
Well, they like it. Some of the people like it though. They like the drama. They like all the chaos that comes with it. That lets me know that they're just as sick as the people in the story. They're sick as the parents. They're sick as the people who immerse themselves, want to be Captain Saberhoes. They're all the same. And that's the sad part about the world, as you see, we're talking about this type of nonsense, is that there are people that are just like the people in the story. And I don't think a lot of the commenters, the people watching this unfold on YouTube, they don't get it. There are a lot of people that are just like the Wells, just like these neighbors, just like the friends they were friends with. They're all the same. They're all wacky, got something wrong, very unhappy in their lives to where they feel like they need to, play off a child missing just to have something to talk about, but you're not talking about anything.
There's been nothing that's been brought to the table.
Nothing that's vital pertaining to finding her.
No, nothing. We got nothing that has anything to do with her. Nothing. And the day that they end up, arresting somebody, we're not even going to see that day coming, just like we did with the West boys. It's just going to happen. Bam, out of nowhere. Law enforcement has kept us very close to themselves because of this mess. Now you got people going to court to fight over, reward money. This is a mess, period, from start to finish. And we're not even at the finish line yet. Not at all.
Well, I think the ultimate blow was definitely this reward shenanigans.
Oh, God, yeah.
This was just the icing on the cake. Like I tell people, you're entitled to your opinion about the allegations in that article pertaining to Q and whomever else. But I'm just one of the type of people, I'm not about to dwell on that for the very reason money was donated.
Yeah.
And if the bank can verify that it's actual money, real money, then I'm not getting ready to douse anybody with gasoline, because too much has happened pertaining to all these platforms and outside people, and I don't have that kind of time to waste, just going on and on about donation money and who saw what, who said what. It's a waste of time at this point because it's a year in. It's just a waste.
At the end of the
It's not
day,
getting anywhere.
At the end of the day, all those people that donated were very happy and very willing to come out of their wallets on the day they donated. So, if you thought in the back of your mind that it was ever going to be a problem, then why did you donate to begin with?
Yeah. I wouldn't have done it if I had any reservation, period.
Yeah.
No matter if it was to the Churchill, the bank, or through a YouTuber. or any other organization. Bottom line.
Yeah. These people don't even know each other. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know who these people really are.
Well, nobody knows anybody. That's what people don't understand about this social media business, be it TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, IG. They're all the same. You're looking at random people talk about whatever. You don't know them. You never met them. They allow you to comment on their page, whatever, but you don't know them. They don't know you. And people just get themselves so disgusted by things that people are saying on social media. I don't care what people are saying. I'm not getting ready to hunt nobody down. I'm not getting ready to, troll their page or keep saying things derogatory. I'm not getting ready to go in their inbox, their personal inbox. I don't have that kind of time because I don't live like that. I'm not trying to see what anybody's doing around me. There's people around me feet away from this house to that house, neighbor houses. I'm not over there in their business. I'm not peeping through the trees. I'm not peeping through their windows. I'm not standing at the edge of the drive wondering why the car sat there for 5 days, didn't move. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I'm not going to do it in my personal life, I'm not getting ready to do it up here. Now, on occasion, I will throw something out there that is discerning to me, that's jacked up, but I don't go on and on about it every damn day. Because I don't really like mentioning other people's names anyway because it causes problems. But when I do a news story, naturally, I'm going to mention the people's names that's in the story. But as far as this platform BS, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these people because they don't have any respect, one, for themselves. So they can't respect Summer Wells. They can't respect her brothers. They can't respect anybody. It's obvious that these people are chaotic. That's why they get a jolt out of doing this stuff and this rambling and searching out people because they don't have anything to focus on. If you sit here and watch a person go live and they acting like they care about the story at hand, but yet they're digging in all these damn dresser drawers, coming up with lint balls and dirty underwear, that lets me know, like I said, this is what you do in your personal life. See, that's what people don't understand about the platform. A lot of these people don't have a life. It's obvious. Because if you can just sit here and just dig and pry with people you don't know nothing about, and they have nothing to do with the story that you're speaking of, what is the point?
I mean, you got people out here running background checks on people for no damn reason.
Yeah, run them. Not
what is the point of that? What business do you have running a background check on another creator? That is what is wrong with this world today. We have all these tools at our fingertips that are used and abused daily. Yeah, if you're gonna hire a babysitter or a caregiver or someone to pick your children up or a house cleaner, some stuff like that, yeah, I can see running a background check. But you've got all these people just randomly doing background checks, doxing people, putting their personal business, their addresses, calling CPS, calling the police, sending the police to people's houses. Who the hell has time for that? I dare someone to send the police to my house.
Because it's what I just said. This is how they live anyway. This is how they live. If there was no YouTube, this is what they would be doing in their spare time, calling the police on other people for no reason. There's a difference if somebody's done something to you, then you call the police.
And you know, YouTube is a very useful place for a lot of things. You know, I like to look up stuff about makeup and decor and DIY projects and cooking. I watch a lot of cooking stuff on YouTube. But my goodness, the other stuff that goes on here is kind of scary at some point.
Well, they don't have a life. That's the problem. They talking about a case and harassing innocent people and random people to get content for their channel, but you have gullible people who are just as lonely as they are, and they feed into that. He said, she said stuff. So every day it's oh, he said this, she said this, they can't wait to mention the platform's name. You don't have to come on my channel and mention other people's names. I don't want you mentioning their names. And some of y'all want to mention their names so bad. Why? I don't know. Especially when it came to about bringing a receipt. You can't bring a receipt, but you want to mention their names. For what? Because if you're watching them, you should be able to repeat whatever they said with a receipt. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's just, I hope, I hope for Summer's sake that, law enforcement is close to getting an arrest on somebody, because what 5-year-old little girl deserves to live a life? You know what I mean? Like, she lived, I often wonder, did those kids ever wonder, like, what was going to be for dinner that day?
Yeah. Well, you always think about that anyway with anybody that's missing or found dead. What were they doing that day? What was going on in their life that day? Who did they talk to that day? I think about that all the time when I hear horrible stories of somebody being dead or missing or murdered, brutally murdered. You always wonder, what were they doing? Who were they speaking to? But something I was thinking about yesterday when I was out running errands, I was thinking about all these cases I spoke on, Camille McKinney, Cal City, and Summer. Megan Boswell comes to mind as well. There's one common denominator with all these cases, and I don't even have to tell you what it is. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
What is the common denominator with all those names I just mentioned?
Well,
Cal City, Summer Wells, Camille McKinney, Evelyn Boswell, the little girl down in Florida that was found in the woods in Alabama, Taylor. What is the common denominator in all of those cases?
well, what I see personally is that they're all very young.
No, not that they're young. What is the common denominator in every case that is similar?
Well, it ain't because of their race, because
No.
they're different
No.
races.
The obvious. What is the obvious common denominator? Think about it. It's sitting right in front of you.
I don't know.
Their parents have drama. They have drama.
Yeah, that, of course.
Every case, all of the parents seem aloof and distant from child rearing.
Yeah.
One little girl goes missing in the projects. All these ugly stories come out about her mother and her father and their life and how they were living, gang-related, robbers, all this type of BS. One little girl is born to a girl that's young, whose parents were chaotic. So now she's trying to rear this little girl, and then the little girl goes missing. Then they find her in a shed or whatever later, wrapped up, dead. A little girl goes missing out of Robertsville. You later find out her parents are drunks, alcoholics, drug addicts, stay in drama, in and out of jail. The parents had other children removed from their care. Cal City. The mother gave birth to 4 children and doesn't have custody of neither child. Then they go into a house with strangers, then to the West House. And it's believed possibly these people naturally abused them. We'll find that out later. And now they don't have any of their children. Do you see there's a pattern with all these kids that's missing and found dead? Their parents are chaotic. That's the reason why they're missing. That's the reason why they're dead. You think about the children out here who have great lives from the eye, great families, allegedly. You're not hearing of them going missing. You're not hearing of them being abused. You're not hearing of them dead, missing. It's not to say that everybody's perfect, but what the point I'm trying to make is, in all these cases that I just mentioned, their parents were the problem. They are the problem. That's why the children are no longer alive. Every case I just mentioned, the children are dead, not missing. Only one, and that's Summer Wells. All the rest of the names I mentioned, they were found dead. And the common denominator are the parents.
Remember that little boy out of Vegas last year?
Yeah.
That went missing, and couple hours later, they found him dead behind a dumpster.
Yeah.
And his mother, they were full of chaotic drama.
But that's what I'm trying to say. That
Now
when
that you say that,
when you go in all the stories of the children dead, the children missing, all this trash comes out about their parents. Rarely do you hear that the parents are decent, that they work every day, they go to school, that they're educated, they haven't been in trouble with the law. You understand what I'm saying? All these cases always have drama with CPS, DHS, different baby daddies, over here, over there. Somebody broke the law. Somebody was on the run. They had all these different people in their house. So they were going from pillar to post. Or the children stayed over here for 5 years. Then the mama got them back. It's always a story with their fucking parents. You never hear of a dead child and missing child coming from a decent mother, father, or family. It's always chaos that the children were raised up. So you have to ask yourself the obvious question. What would be the odds that these same children, if they were still alive, how they would turn out by the time they got 18 years of age? And it's not to say that they could not be productive adults, go off to college, get scholarships. But when you look at all the stuff that came out after they went missing, you wouldn't have to question, dear God, how would this child have survived with these damn buffoons?
it's a disgrace. I think I seen on somebody's community tab last night where it said the chances of a child being abducted is 1 in every 300,000 people.
Well, that's a lot. 300,000.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I'm coming to see just from the things that's coming out about the parents, that 9 times out of 10, if the parents are chaotic and got a lot of drama going on, it's probably a rare chance that a random stranger stole their child. You see, most of the children that are missing and dead, they were deliberately harmed beforehand, which 9 times out of 10 led up to their untimely death. There's no boogeyman under the bed in the closet stealing the damn kids. It's their own damn trifling parents and relatives hurting and harming them, or people coming around the children that their parents got them in the midst, around unsavory people. Such as the white girl that sold her little girl to that black guy. And he took the child over and raped the child and left her dead in that house. That's some heinous shit right there. That's bottom barrel. Bottom barrel. You sell your baby to a grown man for sexual purposes. She needs her ass whooped every day till there is no breath in her.
I just seen on the news yesterday, I think it was Apple News, where a woman was caught for selling her baby for $2,900. What the hell?
And look, somebody would say 2,900. Where's the extra 100?
What a random number.
A very random number.
I don't understand these people. If you cannot handle or afford your child, then you need to turn them over to the state.
Yeah.
And pray to God that they go to a family.
And that's all you can do. And that's all you can do is hope for the best. But I have a problem with people who judge people who don't raise their children. Because like I said, I know half of the people I know weren't raised by their parents. And we don't just sit up and dwell on who didn't raise their kid or not, because it's water under the bridge. You can't go back. You can't take it back. But I do have a problem with people thinking that they're a good parent. Because if we were to go in the looking glass, there probably be some things that people are doing with their children right now somebody wouldn't be in agreement with. You're either too lax or you're too strict. or you don't stay home enough. You don't help your children put their clothes on. You don't help your children get ready in the morning. You sleep all damn day, or you ain't working enough hours to help support your children. You got all type of unsavory people coming in and out of your house. You got chaotic family. You're leaving your kids with people who aren't watching your child. You got your children watching video games all damn day. You're cursing at your children, cussing and fussing at them. See, all those little things add up. And if, like I said, if we were to look in the looking glass, a lot of us could find something wrong with people rearing children. Hey, why are you doing that? Hey, why are you feeding your kids late? That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't believe in children eating dinner at 11, 12 o'clock at night. That's my personal opinion. And I don't care who likes the opinion. That's my opinion. Why are you feeding your baby late? It's a child. You don't feed your kid at 11 o'clock at night for what? All day you want your kid to go lunch, breakfast, lunch, and then dinner time come. You wonder why they're snacking and want to eat this and munch on this, because they're hungry. So you think it's okay for a child to leave a schoolhouse between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, 3:15, and go all the way up to fucking 11, 12 o'clock and they had no damn dinner. But you think that's good parenting skills? Well, many of us would disagree. We have a problem with that. But you sitting out in front of your friends, smoking and chiefing and drinking while your baby running around the car. Yeah, I'm calling some folks out. Your baby running around the damn car hungry. Matter of fact, he eats too damn much because he's getting a little too chunky. And then he sees people eating, he likes to beg for their food. That's another thing I think is jacked up. Watching a child beg a grown person for their food. So people are going to start to wonder, are you feeding your child? Or is it that he's an overeater? It's probably a combination of both. But see, those are the little things that people watch. And they're taking notes. Damn, that little boy hungry all the time. Damn, you can't eat a popsicle. He begging. Miss Angie, can I get some ice cream? Can I get some candy? No, you cannot. I said, have you had your dinner? Oh, no. I said, well, you can't get anything from the queen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to be aiding your child to be a little baby porker. You want to stuff your child with candy and shit all damn evening, that's your business. But I'm not going to do it. Because once I find out your baby hasn't had dinner, I'm not buying no candy and I'm not buying no damn ice cream.
You know, and I wonder, you know, there's people, like you're saying, there's more people than we think that eat very late at night. Yeah. You know?
Well, when you're grown, you can do that. When you are grown and you are single, you can do whatever you want to do. But when you have children, you need to have an appropriate protocol as far as sleep habits, work habits. That's just the way it is. You don't have to like it. You could say and argue all day, well, it's my house, I raise my children how I want. Well, your child walking around hungry. So now it ain't just how you want to raise your child. Because no child should still be gnawing on his paw 8, 9 o'clock at fucking night. That's just how I feel.
I'm the same way. Dinner is done. Well, the days that I'm not home for work, because I'm gone, I normally work at night until 6, from 6 to 6. Mm-hmm. So on those days, I still have dinner prepared. So all my husband has to do is come in and serve my younger ones, right? And it's normally like I put something in the crock pot, or I made something that can go in the oven. All the side dishes are done. It's not that hard, you know. Or on the days that I'm home, I start cooking about 3 o'clock. So dinner is done by 5, and my husband's coming home, and my boys are ready to eat at that time. You know, and then they can have their dessert, their ice cream, or if I made brownies or a cake or whatever the hell, you know. But kids, they need stability.
Well, they need structure. They need structure. And a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people just think because we're in a newer age and people are more free now. Like I said, you're entitled to do whatever you want to do, but your children need to be on a schedule. They can't be on a grown person's schedule because they're not grown. Like I said, if you want to wake up at 8 o'clock at night from a nap and start eating, that's your business. You want to go get a late night snack at 1 o'clock in the morning, that's your business. But it's not recommended for a child to be up at 11 o'clock at night just getting their dinner in. or snacking that late. Their asses should be in the bed. That's the reason why children don't function when they go to school, because one, they have not had no structure. They have not had a proper meal. They have not had any proper sleep. And everybody knows that. You can't wake up 6 o'clock in the morning and start getting ready for school or 5:30 and think you're going to be bushy, a bright-eyed, bushy tail at 8 a.m. sitting in front of it and sitting in a desk. You're not. You're not. Same thing with toddlers. I don't believe in a toddler being up 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. For what? For what reason?
They need their sleep, man. They need to be in bed by 8:30.
I babysat 2 relatives' children a few years ago, and it was the hardest time trying to get them to sleep. She brought them after 9 o'clock. She had a date or whatever. And the thing was, it was like, well, why are they up? They should have been carried in my house sleep. That's my opinion. I shouldn't have to be telling a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old to lie down. And it's 10 o'clock now. And one's jumping up and down, bouncing a ball. And I'm like, we don't do that here. We don't bounce balls in an apartment. Can't do that. And then the little one, she's wide awake, won't go to sleep. And I thought, see, this is what I'm talking about. That child at 1.5 or so, or almost 2, should have been asleep when she got to my home. Both of them should have been knocked out when they got there. No way, 11 o'clock, I'm still talking to your kids. Time to go night-night. You understand what I'm saying? Time to go night-night. If they had a bath before they came, then they should be asleep by the time they crawl in my bed and lie down. They should go to sleep. Up like they done had 12 popsicles. I couldn't understand it. I thought, this woman must keep her babies up late. And then I've learned things about her. She's jacked up anyway. She's got a lot of family issues going on, moving out of the state with her kids, and kids are staying here in the area with family until she got herself settled in a place where she shouldn't be living with others who's put her out. So just crazy stuff. So that lets you know you don't need no children because you don't even know how to think for yourself as an adult to not go back in a place where somebody put you out of their house. So imagine somebody putting you out and you got children. See where I'm going?
Yeah, and the other thing is I see a lot of people that don't make or don't bathe their children on a daily.
Well,
I'm weird.
That's a whole other subject too.
My kids bathe 2 times a day, and I have bathed my kids 2 times a day since the day I brought them home from the hospital.
Yeah. Now, the old saying is like in the winter months, small children, even some adults feel like you don't need to bathe as much in the winter because it's cold, you're not going outside. Maybe so, depending on your hygiene. I ain't gonna tell nobody what they should do. I'm a bather, so it doesn't matter. But with small children, you might be able to get away with just giving the baby a sponge bath when they're infant to a toddler. But as they start getting a little older and sweating, they need a bath or shower for the day.
I just think all kids, including myself, I sleep better when I'm clean.
Well, I do too. I don't like to lie on my sheets and have been out all day sweaty or as just outside. You understand what I'm saying? Even if I come in, eat, whatever, I don't even like putting on night clothes unless I have thoroughly bathed myself. I just don't like my skin touching the sheets and I haven't bathed. Now, there's those rare occasions where I'm just exhausted and I just put my night clothes on and I just get into bed because I don't have the strength to get up, take a shower. But you're right. I do feel better once I have taken a bath and a shower and then lie down. And I think children sleep better once they bathe and then tucked into bed.
They get all nice and clean and snuggled in their bed, and I just think that I just know my kids have always slept well when they're bathed.
Yeah. And I just feel sorry for any child that just doesn't have parents that just care enough about them to say, I'm going to feed you at a decent time. I'm going to feed you decent meals. I'm going to, make sure your hair is combed or you got a nice little haircut, keep you well groomed, keep you in some nice clean clothes, undergarments. I hate to see a child living in a house that one is filthy, nasty, roaches, bugs, people, throwing, nasty things around, undergarments and stuff. Nobody sweeping, cleaning, taking the trash out. I hate to see a child living like that. I hate to see a child living in an environment that's unclean. That's why children keep germs and keep colds and stuff and infections and funguses, because they live in an unclean, unkempt environment. And then they're going out here touching other people's children and doorknobs and door handles. This is why we have the germs we have now, because many people just aren't clean. They're just not clean. But I feel bad for any child that has to go in a house where they don't even have a damn bed. They got a blow-up mattress on the floor, or the mattress is on the floor. I just think at a certain point, when you're starting out, you may not have any help to afford, you know what I'm saying, a bedroom suit or appropriate headboard or frame. But at some point, you should say to yourself, okay, I need a bed frame for myself, and I need a bed frame for my baby. Headboard, you get it when you can afford it. But I don't want to walk in your house and your ass been living there for 15, 16 years, and you got a mattress on the floor for your baby. Your baby don't even have a crib. Your baby don't even have his own bed, her own bed. They don't have clean sheets. They don't have real pillows. And that's something I've seen a lot with my own race. We act like we're scared to go buy a fucking pillow for our damn head. How you gonna sleep without a damn bed pillow? And then when they're nasty and matted up, go back to Walmart, wherever you can afford, and buy you a nice pillow. You do have to spend a little bit of money on pillows because they flatten out, easily. But damn, go buy a bed pillow. Go buy sheets. Go buy a comforter, not a blanket. We ain't talking about an infant. Only infants sleep under blankets. A grown person needs a comforter. When it's cold, you need a blanket or two blankets, depending on the demographics of how cold it is where you live. Basic necessities. And that's the point. You got money for everything else. You got money for your weed. You got money for your vaping products. You got money for your liquor. You got money for your beer. You got money for video games and all this other frivolous shit. But you won't take your money and go buy basic necessities for your house. And my daddy taught me that as a young woman. He taught me that at 22 years of age. He said, you always have a spare toothbrush, a spare pot, a spare pan, soap, bath towels, washcloths, dish detergent, laundry detergent. He taught me that. He says a woman should always have a spare, because you are a woman, you'll have children, you'll eventually have a mate, and a man don't want to be up under no woman who don't got nothing in her house. He said, I don't care how you start now, always keep a spare. Because it tells a lot to the world about how you living. And like I said, everybody has to start somewhere, especially when you're young. You may not have family that can help you get on your feet to furnish your first apartment or house or whatever. So, you buy what you can. But at some point, you look stupid walking out here paying a $300 fucking car note, but you ain't got no damn decent sofa for your children to sit on. You don't got a coffee table. You don't have a dinette table. How you gonna have 3 or 4 children, everybody sitting on a sofa eating? See, that stuff like that, I agree with. Now, I'm real finicky about that. I'm real finicky about that.
We grew up, my mom and my dad were 15 when they had me. So clearly, they needed...
They were what? They were 15?
Huh?
Your mama was 15?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom was 15 when she had me. I think my dad had just turned 16. They're still together.
Wow, that's something.
I think they've been married. So I'm 43. So I think they've been married.
Your parents are young.
Years.
Your parents are young.
Yeah, my parents are very young. My dad will be 60, and my mom just turned 59.
Okay. So where did they meet? Where did they meet? High school?
Yes.
Okay.
Their freshman year.
Okay. Yeah. And their parents, wait a minute, I don't understand. Their parents allowed them to marry even at that age? That's strange.
No. I'm wrong about that. I think right when they turned 18, they got married.
Oh, I see. But you just came in the world before they married. Yeah. Okay.
So I think they've been married right at like maybe 40 years, something like that. Because I'm 43, so.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
like right
Well,
at 40
that's just my pet peeve pertaining to children, is that I know a lot of children, because I know a lot of adults. The children are not living their best life because their parents just refuse to care enough about them. I'm telling you, the stories that I could tell, I would never have to ever do a live about a crime story or breaking news. I could just sit up here and tell you a story every day about people paths I've crossed, the craziness I've seen.
Yeah, what I was getting at about my parents is, even though that they were young, clearly, and they needed probably a lot of help raising, you know what I mean, a baby. I was pretty much raised by my grandmother and my mom's oldest sister. We grew up eating at the kitchen table. You know what I mean? I don't ever remember being allowed to sit in front of the TV and eat anything ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that way in my household.
Mm-hmm.
My boys, it's just habit. They know what habit is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they get dinner. Okay, it's time to eat dinner, and everyone comes to the table. You know, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
They don't
But
even
a lot of people don't start out like that. Like I said, depending on how you start out raising your children and what amenities you have in your home is what causes it's the setup, let's say. But I still believe at some point when you're starting out, don't feel like you can't ask for help. If you need a dinette table, then you go somewhere to ask for help. If there's an organization or church that can help, you know you need a dinette table, chairs, go ask, bedding, whatever. There's no shame in asking. And then you upgrade. After you've made a little money, saved a little money, then you go buy the type of dinette table you want. Then you go buy the type of furniture you want. My thing is humble beginnings. Everybody has to start somewhere. But at some point, all the spending on stuff that's not important is ridiculous. And I see this a lot with young people. They don't have basic things in their apartment or house, but they got a nice car outside. Or they're spending $200 on some stupid ass Jordans. That's a pet peeve of mine too. I cannot stand to hear young and older people talk about a pair of damn Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has made his money 20 times over. You're sitting up here wasting your damn paycheck on a $200 pair of tennis shoes for yourself and a 2-year-old when you don't even, like I said, got a decent bed. Don't even got sheets on your bed. Don't have pillowcases, but you got a $200 pair of shoes on. And you teaching your children that this materialistic stuff is a shoe, a purse, a Michael Kors, a Dooney and Burke purse is more important than having sheets on your bed. Having curtains up to the window. You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Or paying electric. Well, I ain't gonna worry about the light bill because I want to get my nails done, or I want to go get me some new Michael Jordans. And these young people need to grow up. Your baby don't need Michael Jordan. For what? What does an infant need? Some Nikes? If you can afford them, okay, but spending a lot of money for a child that's 5 years old, a shoe, when they grow out of their shoes easily, children. See, that's the thing people don't understand about spending money for name brand items. It's all the same. They grow every day. They're growing. So you gonna go out here and spend a lot of money on a pair of jeans and a shirt for a little bitty toddler, and in 5-6 months they can't even wear the item. Now, if you can afford to shop at, the nice retail shops at the mall, that's your preference. But still, if you're not paying your bills, your living expenses, your baby don't have to have Baby Gap. You can't afford Baby Gap. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to spend $50 for a little wool coat for a toddler, but your electric is due. You need gas in your car. That's where I have the problem. And that is what's going on with many people. We're spending on stuff we don't need. Stuff we don't need. And it's only worse when you have children. Now, when you're single, you want to blow your damn money and your bills are due, that's your business. But when you have children, you can't do that.
No. People need to be able to provide the basic necessities until you are financially okay to go above and beyond. Kitchen tables, comforters, bed sheets.
All that.
Your basic needs, a pot, a skillet, groceries.
Listen, You know, when when that Chris had panned the house in the beginning, going into the Wells house, and the first thing I saw was the bunk beds facing the door. That was just so disturbing to see a child's room facing a front door. And then there were no sheets on one of the beds that I remember. So the first thing I thought was, this is how the children were living before they were removed from their house. So that means the last time they were there were no sheets on the bed. So how is a child sleeping on a mattress without a damn fitted sheet?
Look at the shit that was all over the house.
Or comforters.
You couldn't even see the floors. There was stuff everywhere, clothes.
I just felt sorry for them. I felt sorry for them because I thought they at that time didn't get the basic luxuries that most of us take for granted. Having clean sheets, fitted sheet, top sheet, a comforter, pillows, pillowcases, clean clothes folded up in the dresser drawer, hung up in a closet. You can just go pick out what you want to wear for the day. You know that when you dirty it up, it's going to go in a dirty clothes basket and then washed in the washing machine and dried. I just can't in my right mind understand, hell, why you all don't have double washing machines and dryers. You know you got 6 people living in your house. You're probably going to need a spare washing machine, spare dryer. Those are the things you spend your money on. The fact this woman didn't even want to go work a job knowing she had all these children with this man. Okay? It doesn't really matter that he made a half decent income. The point is, he's not doing his part. So as a mother, you should be responsible enough to say, well, I'm going to work and bring income into this house while I'm with this dodo bird because these are my children and I brought them here. So it doesn't matter if Donald wants to get high, get drunk, only buy pizzas. I'm the mother and I say, we're going to have a refrigerator. We're going to have a deep freezer. We're going to have a kitchen table. We're going to put doors up. We're going to put walls up. And if he didn't comply, I'd have got my happy tail out of there with my children. That's how you rock and roll. You a mother first because you're not single anymore. So you think of your children and you don't let another party, male or female, dictate what is best for your children. So they both were evenly yoked and not giving an F about themselves or their children. It was obvious how they were living. Walking down that plank down in the middle of the kitchen. Why would you want to go down those stairs like that every day to go to your own damn bedroom? And a children's room downstairs. It was just ridiculous.
That was very creepy. And I think the bed that was down there that she said Summer slept on, I think that's the bed that had no sheet.
It had a sheet?
No, I don't think it had a sheet on it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ones upstairs. When you first walked in, there was a bullseye view. There were not sheets on the mattresses, on the bunk beds. I'm talking about the bunk beds.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
And the thing downstairs, that was mattresses on the floor from my recollection.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
So no real bed in a bed frame. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Today's day and age, it takes an army to raise your children.
Yeah, well, we don't have armies now.
No, we don't. And, to run a household, if you're married, it really is.
Hey, Reese.
It really takes 2 people, If a mother is a stay-at-home mom, okay, well, I guess.
Yeah.
But, if not, and both parties have to work, then both parties really need to do their part. And we know that they don't, and we know that that's not something that happens in most homes. But children need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of discipline. They need stability. And they need to see that, mothers and fathers can work together to provide and guide them.
Let's talk about the children, what it was like living there and going to school and church and looking at other children and people dressed nice, knowing that the children were well kept up. Possibly they saw how other children lived in nice homes. I don't know if the children got to visit other people's houses, but let's just say for the record, they were able to go to somebody's house for a birthday party or visit. Imagine going to somebody's house where the lawn is manicured. You walk inside the front door. It's nicely decorated. It's clean. There's not dog hair everywhere. There's not dog poop and urine on the floor. There's nothing out that shouldn't be out. Just imagine going in their house, refrigerator, stove, washing machine, dryer, being offered something to drink, something to eat. Everything's nice, clean. Just imagine seeing that, and then you have to return home back to Beach Creek where everything's in disarray. There's no continuity. There's no flow of anything. There's nothing clean. There's nothing cohesive. My bed is facing a fucking door, so anytime Dick and Harry that comes in the house can see me sleeping and or changing in my clothes. That's another thing. No privacy for the children that slept in that front room. A room adjoining a damn kitchen. See, this is what I'm talking about. Just no respect for your own damn kids.
I just wonder.
How do you take a shower and come out to what? In a towel and change in an open room where everybody can see your private parts. Man, that's just so jacked up to me. It's jacked up.
Can you imagine how they felt when they went to school?
That all of it, school, church, all of it. Being out and about. They watch TV. You see how people live on TV. Commercials, you see the nice kitchen. They're spraying Clorox. You know that somebody lives better, and you know somebody in the world lives like that. Commercial or not, TV program or not, reality TV or not. You know somewhere in the world somebody has a nice car. Somebody has a nice house, a nice condo, a nice trailer. You know this. By the time you get old enough to open your eyes, hear and see, you know there's something out there better than what you are living. Everybody knows that. And yes, sitting in the school and they got nice shoes on, nice clothes. They smell good. They smell fresh. It would be shameful to sit in school and knowing my clothes don't smell as fresh as the little guy next to me. His clothes smell like Gain, fabric softener. My clothes smell like mildew, funk, because my mama won't wash my clothes. She's too busy trying to get geeked up and turned up.
Horrible.
And God forbid, they all had hair lice. Imagine that. So now your kids are going to school sharing hair lice with other children. See, who's to say that the lice, it started at their house? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's sad. It don't matter which way you cut the cloth. It's sad.
It is sad. It's very sad.
They lived a horrible childhood, those kids.
But let's go there. Let's flip it. Who's to say they enjoyed that life? Because you always have to remember about stuff. I don't have to agree with how they live. And I can't say for sure that the children weren't happy and upset that they left their family and wanted to return to their family. See, that's the thing about a child. A child is more resilient than an adult. A child will love his or her abuser. A child will still want to be with their parents in a filthy house, nasty house. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's all they know. So who's to say that the children actually miss the wells? They miss living up on the mountain. They miss living in that nasty ass house.
Yep, they very well could have been very, very happy kids. We don't know.
That's true.
We're just saying what we think based off of what we've seen. You know, we see that these kids lived in the conditions that they lived in. To us, that's heartbreaking. To them, that was normal.
Okay.
They may have enjoyed that. We don't know.
Very true.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Horrific.
I wonder how the boys are doing.
Hopefully they're thriving. I hope they're thriving and getting to be kids.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're being taken care of well.
Right. But the thing that crosses my mind is the fact that there are 3 of the boys. And what are the odds that they all are going to be able to be raised in the same household up until 18 years of age? The oldest one turns 18.
Yeah, that You know, it's going to take a special person to be willing to take all three of them. You know,
Yeah.
I hope that would happen.
Yeah,
Or has
because somebody may not want to take care of all three. May
Right.
just want one, or only want the two. And they may pick and choose which ones they want. See, people don't think about that with foster care. It says everybody thinks they know everything about foster care. That they think just some boogeyman is snatching up children. They have to find a place for the children's state. And just because somebody has a brother or sister or more, it does not mean that the person wants to take in all of the children. Imagine 6 children being placed in foster care, 4 children being placed in foster care. You can't make somebody take in 4 damn children.
No, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, because you don't know how many bedrooms they have. You don't know if they want that many children at one time. Because you don't even know if they already have their own children plus other foster care children.
And we don't know what type of services the Wills kids are going to need.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to have behavioral issues? Do they have psychological issues? Are they going to be needing to go to different doctors for these type of issues?
Yeah.
They could have behavior, issues.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on 3 boys that possibly could potentially have these type of issues going on, that's a lot for, someone to take on.
Yeah.
So they probably, took 1, maybe 2. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can only imagine that's a lot for somebody because we don't know what type of condition these kids were in mentally and physically or emotionally.
Do you think we'll be looking at this case another year from now?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Why? Why do you think that?
I think that they really may not have concrete evidence
Mm-hmm.
to bring charges that are actually going to stick,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope not, but...
So let's go here. Let's just say she was discarded wherever. And they had done the pings early on, soon as they got the devices. And they were able to drive in that location where they got the pings and found the little girl discarded, deceased, of course. Imagine that. Because we don't know when exactly data has come back or if data has come back at all. I'm only assuming that because they keep searching out around near the house.
Right.
That's my assumption. So let's just say you ran the pings early on, within a month, let's say. Could it be they could have found her already by now? Hypothetically speaking.
I think that they have gotten the cell phone pings back, hence the reason they went to that same location multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're really looking for something, article of clothing,
Mm-hmm.
a piece of clothing.
Yeah, because the clothing would be, to me, just as good too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to just, go on a wing and a prayer and hope you find something. Even if you can't find remains, if you can find article of clothing that can match something she's had on in pictures and photographs and videos. Because you have to use deductions. What are the odds that somebody else's child would have these clothes on and also living back here in the same community and the clothes discarded out in the wilderness? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What would they be doing back there? Huh?
I said I definitely think they got the cell phone data.
Okay.
And I think that's why they keep going to.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Because they know she was, or grandma was, so one of them was right in that vicinity.
Yeah.
So they're assuming that that's where the little girl is. And I think that they're needing some sort of something that's going to make the charges stick.
Yeah.
And they haven't brought no charges yet because possibly what they can bring,
Mm-hmm.
if they get a good attorney, then they could possibly be fought, and they don't want to risk that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would I rather them wait and get what they need? Yeah, but how long are we really going to wait it out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I mean, we don't know what they're thinking.
Another thing I'm thinking about with the pings is what fool would take their phone with them to discard a body? You know you're supposed to turn your phone off.
Oh, yeah. They're idiots, though.
Why would you carry your phone with you while dumping a body? This is how many people have been found, is because their phone was either on their person when dumped, or the dumper had their phone on them when they dumped the body.
Yeah, people don't realize that. You ain't supposed to take that phone with you.
Yeah, and then two,
Turn that off and leave it.
God forbid you have your Google notifications on, which will show where exactly you were.
Yeah, it's just stupid. They don't use their brain. I really hope that they find her. I hope they find something that brings closure and lets this little lady get,
Yeah,
justice, because she needs justice.
yes, she does.
And I pray to God every day
Yeah,
that those young boys didn't have anything to do.
yeah, I
with it,
pray they're not involved as well, because that would be
that
just
they
as
didn't
traumatic
see it
as
happen.
Cal City situation.
It's sad, and I feel bad for them.
Well, yeah, because they're children, they're children of God. These people are the only people that they know. So you always have to count that in as a factor. It doesn't matter if we like them or not, the Wells. It doesn't matter if they were not the best parents, but the children, that's all they know. And if you count the fact that they didn't have any other relatives, any other friends involved in their lives to take them places and be concerned about their welfare, man, they're shit out of luck, I'm telling you, because that's even worse now to even think about that. Where were the good friends and family members that visited, who would have seen how these children were living, and possibly these children would have already been out of the Wells care a long time ago before Summer went missing. This is why, nobody was in their lives. That's why, you could argue me down all you want, naysayers. Where were these sisters and family members from Utah while these children were being raised with the Wells in these unsavory conditions? See, I have a problem with that, because if you were visiting them and coming to town to see how they were living, you should have had no problem with either checking the Wells about how they were raising their children or calling CPS to tell them, hey, these kids need to come the hell up out of here. That's something nobody's talked about either.
And people have to think about, okay, so for instance, let's just say, we're talking about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where were all these other people? Well, clearly the people that have been up on that hill were just as bad as they are, because they allowed it.
Yeah.
If my sister or my cousin, if I walked in their home and seen that, I would be giving them a choice.
Yeah.
The kids are coming home with me, or I'm calling the cops and I'm calling CPS.
Yeah. And let's ask that too, because I haven't heard anything about this Mary lady. When was the last time that you visited Tennessee when they had these children? Or did you ever go to Tennessee to visit your brother and Candace and the children? And did he ever take the children out there to see you all and the family? See, you have to ask those questions. Everybody's so hung up on these SA charges and all of that. As I said, I'm not here to knock nobody that's been sexually assaulted, but that's really not the issue, because we don't have no proof of nothing. Where were you all while these children were living in this filth up on the mountain? When was the last time you saw the children? Have you ever seen the children, met the children? Did you call the children? Did you take care of the children at any point? Babysit the children? Did they ever go to Utah to visit? Did you send them presents, birthday presents, Christmas presents? See, that's the shit nobody asks. You're too busy worrying about that stuff that Don did with them as a child himself. You don't ask, what role did you play in the lives of your niece and nephews? Do you talk to his other children that Don has? See, Queen Woe.
I say 10 to 1. They never had nothing to do with those kids.
You mean Don's first children?
No, I don't know about Don's first children. These 4 children.
Yeah.
I definitely do not.
That's what I'm saying. Why nobody talks about that? Just essay. Well, why don't you ask these same sisters, were you all talking with these people?
And why don't you have custody of these boys right now?
Because that's what you should have. And that's another question too. We could do a video. I could do a video on that later. Yeah, why were the children not placed with any of you all? Thundercat is saying she don't believe the sisters knew that she existed. How could you not? If you're still hanging around your stepfather, the stepfather was still talking to Donald. So you want me to believe Donald never told, the father never told the wife, hey, he's got a son, a daughter. Come on now. Yeah, that's gonna be the next video, because I think that needs to be said. With all this backtracking of old crimes, why do you all not have custody of any of these children? Why is there no living relative having custody of the children?
Why the hell did this woman wait until this little girl went missing and 30 years later to come on YouTube? You came to social media to disclose that you were SA'd as a child? What the hell does that have to do with this missing little girl?
Mary in the chat says, I think they knew about the boys, but not the girls. Well, that's even more jacked up. If that's true, we don't know if that's true or not, but that's my point. All this talking about SA, where's the conversation about the children and the knowledge of the children, the interaction with the children, and the fact that these children are now in foster care and one's missing? Maybe if you all were visiting the Wells and saw how they were living and video chatting with them, you could have said, hey, what the fuck is going on back there? Hey, your house looks a mess. A lot of people don't like to get in people's business, but this is why the world is the way it is because people are afraid to say anything to people. It's wrong to go step over in somebody's house. You see it's nasty, filthy. You see children running around, but you don't say nothing to the parents, and you don't call the police or DHS to say, man, there's some jacked up stuff going on over there on Front Street.
Yeah, to me, that's a little weird. This sister ran to YouTube and was speaking for the other sister and then coming up with cooking channels.
Yeah, why that sister never talked? Why that sister never talked personally? Has she talked to people personally? The one that allegedly he touched.
Yeah, to me that, heaven forbid, I feel bad for these people that this happens to. I really do. Nobody should ever experience anything like that. But come on, man. Where were you? Why now? Why come to YouTube? That's my thing.
Well, I'm asking you, the one that allegedly he touched, has she spoken on a platform before? Hello?
What was that?
The one that he touched, did she ever talk on a platform?
No, I don't think so. I've never.
So Mary has been the mouthpiece for her.
Yeah, that's what I have.
See, that don't make no
I have
sense.
not seen anything.
That don't make no
She
sense.
was on a platform.
So she don't want nobody to see her.
I guess.
Somebody says the daughter has. Well, I don't need nobody to be a mouthpiece. But listen, I don't need nobody to be a mouthpiece for me. You could talk on audio and not show your face. Y'all do it every day when you get on these people panels. Nobody knows what you look like when you're gabbing. So what would have been the difference with her going on somebody's panel, or she have her own channel, since everybody loves starting channels, and just talk and say, yeah, I'm the person that's made the allegations. I'm the one bringing forth the old charges against Donald Wells. Why not? Why is Mary the mouthpiece? That's all I'm gonna say.
I just think that's very strange. If I was at first essayed and I wasn't, let's just say you already had a platform, right? And that's what you came to social media for, is to make a change, right? To be a mouthpiece for other victims and teach them how to come forward and how to feel safe to come forward. That's one thing. But you can't come to social media when you're the aunt of a missing 5-year-old little girl, and now you have flipped the tables and made this completely about you and your sister. Okay. That's not okay, man. That's just not. From the moment I caught this woman, on CM's live, she put a real bad taste in my mouth.
Okay. And see, a lot of people disagree with what you're saying, and I'm basically in agreement with you, because you can come up with 1,000 excuses why they weren't engaged in the life of Donald Wells and his children, but it is what it is. If you haven't been engaged in his life, then how can you assume that he's the reason that the child went missing? So you're only going by what he allegedly did to you or what he did to you to say, well, I think that's why she's missing. You can't say that. If you're not around him, you're not around Candace, you don't know what they got going on down here, you can't say, well, because somebody molested me, then that's why she's missing. We don't know that. All that's rumor. And nobody here in Tennessee has proven that's why she's missing.
And my whole thing is what tragically happened to them, right, has nothing to do with
Exactly.
her disappearance.
Without a receipt. You have to have a receipt.
Different things.
That's right. You have to have a receipt.
Be handled separately.
You have to have a receipt, though.
You have all the right in the world to go to law enforcement. You have all the right to come up with your own platform, but don't take the spotlight away from a missing 5-year-old little girl that happens to be your niece's.
Yeah.
And make it about
I just can't see how you can correlate the two, because my thing is, you're not around your brother allegedly. You don't talk to him. You don't talk to the wife. You don't know the dynamics between the children and the mother, the children and the father. So because you were molested by this said person, you now want to correlate and say, well, I was molested by him, so I know that's why the little girl missing. So I'm going to call the FBI, whoever, TBI, and say, well, he molested me when I was a young girl for this many years, and I think he's the reason the little girl's missing. You can't say that, because you're not dealing with them. You're not dealing with them on any level. You're not dealing with them and their children. Allegedly, you don't know about this child or that child. You don't know what the hell is going on down here.
No, not at all. And it's horrific. If those women were SA'd, that's horrible. That's awful. And yes, you should try to bring justice to yourself. Absolutely. But in a different light.
Yeah.
You can't intertwine the two things.
Yeah.
Because that happened 30 years ago to
Yeah.
you. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do. It happened 30 years later.
Right.
To a 5-year-old little
Yeah,
girl.
because a lot of people have done all type of sins in their life as children and adults. But when something else jumps off, you got to have a receipt to put that what happened new to something that happened old. And you don't have anybody in the state of Tennessee verifying that he or his wife molested the children. You don't have nobody verifying the CPS visits, allegedly, CPS calls. That's all I keep hearing in the chat. Everybody keeps repeating what somebody else said. Oh, CPS was visiting. Oh, she was ignoring the CPS visits. That's somebody else telling you that. You don't hear Candace telling you, I don't open the door when they come. I didn't open the door when they come. Don didn't open the door when they came. You don't have that. That's just people repeating that and 50,000 people spinning it from one person's mouth. Nobody from CPS has verified any open investigations, any visits before the child went missing, any allegations that she was being molested by her father, mother, or any outside parties that know them. So until you get one of them to say, yes, we have evidence that the child was being molested, we believe that the child went missing because she was being molested, you don't have a receipt to that. That's just gossip. And I'm not trying to knock what Don has done or not done, but I'm not getting ready to pass a rumor that he was touching his child and that's why she went missing, was to silence her. Because in the end, that doesn't even make any sense. Like I said, people keep dwelling on, well, she was about to start school. She was about to start school. She was going out in public every week. You want me to believe that he didn't think that the child could go tell the people at the church she was being touched? She could have easily told somebody if she wanted to. So what's the difference between her telling the Saturday day teacher versus somebody at the schoolhouse? They're the same thing. How's one different than the other? They're not. Because if I want to hide the truth, I'm going to hide her completely. She ain't going to no church. If I want to hide, I'm touching my child, I'm going to keep her and my children hidden. I'm not going to take them to church where I could think they might want to get to talking when they're out of my sight. People don't think when they talk, just say anything.
And if it does come to light that CPS failed them and that there was open investigations and Candace was not answering the door, then shame on them. Because they're supposed to come with the authority if that happens so many times.
Yeah. And if that's the case, and if CPS was investigating them, then that means CPS dropped the ball because they allowed the children to stay in the household with these people for her to go missing and for her other children to also be in jeopardy of being violated by a parent. And then they still stayed in the care of the Wells 6 weeks later after the little girl went missing. You want me to believe the police didn't have a database when they walked up to investigate someone was missing? That should have been the first thing that come up in the computer. Oh, we have an open CPS case on them. DHS should have been called about the house. But as I told the chat, that's not a reason for them to take your children. It's because your house is unkempt. They've got to see abuse and neglect to the highest degree to remove the children out of the house. So if they didn't see fecal matter, urine, blood, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not going to take the kids. That's why I always question, was there an open investigation? Because everybody keeps writing on that, but you don't have anybody verifying that rumor.
You know, CPS could have turned around and say, we're giving you 3 business days or 3 days in general.
Yeah.
To clean this house.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
If not, we're removing your children.
Right. So we know that didn't happen because they were there 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't give somebody 6 weeks to clean up their house.
Hell no.
That leads me to think that perhaps nobody's in jeopardy of being investigated or removed. That something jumped off with social media and Donald Wells for the courts to intervene and the children got removed. What exactly? I don't know what was said or done with Donald Wells and the children and Candace, but I just refuse to believe that there was an investigation, because I just refuse to believe the state would, after seeing the state of the house, police and deputies, all these people saw the house, somebody could have easily made a comment, hey, we need to call the state. This house is in disarray. The outside's in disarray, the inside's in disarray.
Right there.
That's what I'm saying, they were right there. So you mean to tell me nobody wanted to call the state to say, hey, these children are in danger? And the fact, like you said, Summer went missing, that should have been an automatic reason to take the children.
Yeah, you think so. Removing your children, you have another child missing.
Yes, exactly. So then you have to ask that question. Why were the boys not removed after they couldn't come up with a reason or any information to how she got gone? So see, that's a very pertinent question. Why were the children still there 6 weeks later? Why were the boys not removed after everybody has come to the house and saw how these people live? Why were the boys still living with the Wells? You can't make it make sense, but as I told people, you got to have a receipt to what actually was going on with these people. You have to have a receipt. Gossip, that's not enough. I think this is what happened. I think this is what was happening. You can think all day. Where's the receipt? Nobody has a receipt. Only the Wells know why the children were removed. And they're never going to tell you the truth why the boys were removed. They're never going to tell you if the state was involved in their business before Summer went missing. Nobody's going to tell you that they were molesting her allegedly. That's a spoken word. Never going to tell you that. So you can try to correlate the SA charges out of Utah allegations with this case. You got to bring a receipt. And the point I'm trying to make to people saying past behavior is future behavior, you didn't even know Don molested those people until they came forward. Bingo card. So if they had never came forward with these allegations that they were touched by him, you would have just assumed Don, Candace, and Grandis are behind the disappearance of the little girl. You would have never known about no SA. I think he molested her and that's the reason why she's gone missing. You understand what I'm saying? You would have had nothing. There would never been no SA conversation pertaining to Summer Wells if those women had never said anything. So you wouldn't even know.
Nope.
And I can't say what he was doing with his children, if he was molesting his child or not. All I'm saying is you would have never known about the past had they not came forward. And two, you don't have a receipt to why the children were taken. You don't have a receipt to why they let the children stay there 6 weeks later. And you don't have a receipt that Don was molesting any of his children. Past behavior of doing it with those girls, because at the time he was a minor when he was molesting them. And then an attempt once he was what, about 18, 19 when he got out of jail or prison?
I think so, right around that age.
It's just a jacked up, it's a jacked up situation. It's jacked up, man. It's jacked up. Real jacked up.
Don't matter which way you chop it, it's sad.
Yeah, it is. It's messed up. And that's why I wish they would speak on something. Anything. Just speak on something.
I think it makes sense, why they're not speaking on anything, because every little thing that they say, most of these content creators run with it and they just chop it up a billion different ways.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it's a shit show.
Yeah, but I wish they'd say something to dispel the rumors, because that's what helps die a rumor down, is if you could say, well, we have evidence to say this, this, and this, or we have evidence to dispel this rumor here, and then maybe people can stop passing it as the truth. You tell something. But anytime you're dealing with the state isn't obligated to give you any information because it's business pertaining to a child.
Well, then, you have Mr. CM over there on his platform leaking information that, oh, yes, I promise you the authorities have paid him a visit. The Utah authorities have paid him a visit. What business is it of his, if he does have pertinent information, to disclose that with anybody?
I don't know.
That's disgusting to me.
Well, the people are eating it up. The people that follow the content and people that think they know what's going on with the Wells and the children, and they listen to people talk and they just assume, well, he's a retired detective. He knows stuff. He's probably talking to law enforcement, because law enforcement do pass information secretive that they're not supposed to repeat. And they get information on things going on in cases. That's how, another network let stuff out, because they were possibly talking to other law enforcement. But in the end, it's still somebody repeating it. And you're just assuming because they're in law enforcement, they got connections, and somebody's spilling the tea.
Well, I don't think that he should have ever came back to YouTube and said, oh, they paid him a visit. That was, to me, that's asinine. A lot of the things that he's said and done to me personally.
Well, obviously, whoever told him the information, if it's true, they might want to now say, well, we won't be telling him anything else because he's repeating his stuff on the channel.
Yeah, very possible.
Well, next month is August. That would be about, what, his 6th month in jail, or 7th month?
When did he go, in February?
Yeah.
Yeah, next month, 6 months.
We will see what happens, if he will be able to get out of jail or not, Donald Wells, or he has to do the entire 12 months. He'll be sick if he had to do the whole 12.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably already sick, because he can't orchestrate anything. He can't delegate anything from behind bars.
No, nothing.
Let's talk about Miss Robin. I'm approaching 2 hours. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. This is a 2-part live pertaining to Casey White, Vicky White. Casey White, the felon that was aided out of jail by a deputy who later killed herself in a car that is moved by the coroner's office. Now the Lauderdale County District Attorney in Alabama is saying that she was shot. They believe that she was shot, and they've gotten 12 members of a grand jury to say yay. And Casey, naturally, is denying the claim. Second part of this live is pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. Tomorrow will mark 13 months that a call went into a dispatch office saying that the child was missing by her bio donors. That's a said conversation in this live, 2-part live. Thank you for joining me. Robin, where's Robin?
Yeah, she was pretty vocal there in the beginning.
Taking photographs back in the winter.
Yeah. Group photos.
That shit, that right there just got me. I was like, man, lady, you doing too much. Playing coy, she's all interested in the child, giggling during all the interviews, and then acting like she can't remember what she said when somebody asked her a question about something. And I told myself right then, if you can't remember something you said from summer, back in the summer, up until only a few months later, you shouldn't be speaking to anybody about anything. Because that was only a few months that had gone by when somebody was asking her questions, I think during an interview about Summer Wells and what she said about this and that. And that's when you know you shouldn't be speaking, when you can't even remember anything.
Yeah, she kind of creeped me out.
Because I know a lot of times people will laugh and grin when they're nervous. Because I used to, grin and laugh when I was younger. I remember my aunt once saying, "You're laughing a lot." That's sometimes people do that when they don't know what to say or they're caught off guard. But she's an adult, and I'm assuming by now she should know when to possibly just don't say nothing, so you don't have to give a nervous laugh or a nervous laugh as an answer or a response. So where is she now? No more photos at the Mount with crazy YouTubers and Candace. I would have never been in no photographs with her, just for the very reason everything began to play out on social media, the rumors, the this and that. Why would you want to be a part of that? See, you always have to question everybody's role in getting involved in being a part of a spectacle. And if you are a Christian woman, you're also a mother of a child, you're also married, you have to count all those entities. What am I going to gain by involving myself? Number one. Number two, am I telling the whole truth about the information that I'm giving? Number three, how is this going to affect my family life, my church life, my business, my work, all of that? She didn't give any of that a thought. And that is, to me, baffling, because you are an adult and you're not even thinking of the ramifications of speaking publicly, also aiding this woman. Then you're taking photographs with her when you see all the negativity surrounding her and her husband. And there's nothing wrong with supporting somebody, but you can support a person and not be visible. Because sometimes it's best to support people and not be visible in the support. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't got to take photographs. You don't have to be doing news interviews. You don't have to be going on people's panels on a YouTube channel or Facebook group. You could just call them periodically to check on them, ask them, are they okay? Do you need anything? And then that be between you and Candace, Don, whomever. All the world didn't have to know your visible support. Because we've learned about people that stand out in the crowd. Sometimes they're not genuine in standing out. They just want to be seen. And I'm not saying that's her. I'm just saying it's strange now. We're a year in, 13 months. And where are you now? No more photographs, no more interviews, no more nothing. And let's also talk about the church besides Robin. Where do they stand with Candace and Don now? What do you think? Do you think they're supporting them?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, where's the preacher? How about that?
I don't think so. I think that they possibly think that something sinister happened. Hence the reason, Robin has fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Remember, maybe their pastor said, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
No more. You're not dragging the church, Robin, into this mix. They're going to paint us a bad picture, That should have been said. That should have been said first thing when the videos started getting released and the certain person started digging into all those videos and posting them. The pastor should have said something to everybody in the church as soon as the videos got mainstream. Yep. Well, number one, you should have some self respect to not go up in a church and try and record something like that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before that. Before they did that, the person who was putting the videos up, that was early on. The videos, the church videos, that was a bit much because that showed another light of what was going on with the family going to church, how they were acting in church, and how the child was acting.
Yeah.
So I'm saying,
it most definitely did.
So
that right there painted a bad picture.
It did, and that's why the pastor should have said something. The pastor should have said something to Robin.
Slouched all the way down. The child's running around like a heathen. They're untamed people. All kinds of stuff.
Well, that's why the pastor should have said something to everybody in the church. Don't talk to these people. Don't go to their panels. Don't be commenting, telling stuff because I don't want any problems. And then when these people start coming to the church, asking them questions, y'all knew better than to be going to that church, asking those people anything. That's why I said everything begot one thing. When folks start digging up pictures and photographs of the church and the videos, that started that church business. Then people calling the church, bothering the church. You don't have to be bothering those people at the church. You're wrong for that. See, that's why I had a problem with a lot of these messy ass people. Why are you bothering the church? One, they weren't even members. They were just going to the church. So you're now harassing the church, harassing the pastor. You're trying to reach Robin. Everybody was just doing too damn much. Now, 13 months in, you still got folks worrying the neighbors, talking to the neighbors. Oh, I got the tea. Let me tell you what Pookie said. Let me tell you what Ray Ray said about their ex. Who cares? Who gives a F about these neighbors? What does it have to do with the little girl? Were they with her on June 15th, 2021? That's what I want to know. Did they babysit her, talk to her, took her to the store? What? Give a damn about Jody Sue. I don't give a damn about her husband, ex-husband, boyfriend, baby daddy. Care about none of that foolishness. And I don't even care anymore about what's going on with Allie and all them because all that shit is irrelevant at this point. Because in the end, it's somebody's version. And one thing I can say about that mess, the pot show can't talk about the damn kettle. Because you a grown woman living with your mama. Why? With your children. Why do you not have your own house, apartment, condo, trailer? Why you don't have your own automobile? Why were you living up on the mount staying with Candace? For all that he said, she said to get out about that Jose fella. See, that's what people don't pay attention to is what's obvious. What's obvious.
Yeah, that woman is as bad as Candace.
That's my point.
You're grown, woman. You're grown. You live with your mama at, 40 years old, however old she is. And your children are running the streets, and you have a daughter that's running away, and a son that is running with a grown woman drinking twisted tea and smoking vapes. And you don't have any, do you even have a job? Do you have your own car?
I just can't see a grown woman having all these children and living with her mother and living what would be considered subsidized housing or public housing. Why? When you can get your own place and raise your children in your own damn house.
She don't want to work. She likes that life. She likes to sleep on her big ass and do nothing all day.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they went complaining to the landlord, because people do that. Oh, they're on social media. They're always talking about this summer wells and blah, blah, blah. You can get your housing messed up because you want to run your mouth to a YouTuber. Them YouTubers are not going to take you in when your ass ain't got nowhere to sleep. You and grandma and your children out there on the damn street needing a place to sleep.
Because if they are on subsidized housing and not everybody listed on that home is on that case, they'll take your shit away real quick. And there ain't no getting it back for a very long time until there's vacancy. So, they don't think about any of that. They just think it, I'm assuming they thought it was cool. She thought it was cool. People were coming to her and talking to her.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about people who don't know you and live somewhere else. It's the same thing with a reporter. They go get the scoop, the story. When they're done, they're out of there. Whatever the hell you got going on with your landlord, your bill collector, it ain't their problem, and they don't give a damn. What do they care? You live over here, over there, you got this going on. Your landlord wants to know why you're on social media saying these certain type of things. See, ain't nobody thinking about that. Nobody's thinking about none of that type of stuff. Now, naturally, they have to have serious allegations in order to try to evict you from your housing if they caught you lying on something, or if they think you're taking money and you're not reporting the money, see, that's a reason that they could try to get you out of there. If they think you got money, you've been collecting money, and you're not reporting it. See, that's why I tell people, you got to think about what you're doing. You can't be doing any of this stuff and let people know your business. Because if you live in a subsidized housing, people know it's subsidized housing, and you sitting up here, somebody's stupid enough to say on a fucking live, oh yeah, I gave him $200 for this, I gave him $300 for this. All somebody got to do is go take it to the housing authority and show them the video. Oh yeah, she taking money, and they live in subsidized housing, and she reporting zero, this. People don't think about stuff like that. That's why you have to keep your fucking mouth closed. Them YouTubers can't help you if somebody come and say, well, are y'all getting monies from this? Do you have a Cash App account? They can ask you. Are you stupid enough to be going live and talking about that type of stuff and know you in that subsidized house? You shouldn't be even talking to them folks about nothing. Because they are not going to help you when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, they won't be there to bail you out, that's for sure. Not at all. Allie should have shut her mouth from the jump.
Well, she should better her circumstances since she likes being in front of the camera. How about you take donations, or you do your own YouTube channel to get yourself out the situation you in living with your mama? How about that?
Yeah.
Go find you a nice little trailer. Go find your nice little trailer or a subsidized housing somewhere, or a Habitat house or something, and go live by yourself with your children. How about that?
I think she's a lazy pig. She don't want the responsibility.
She look nasty. I looked at the way they were dressed standing out there in that damn cold with messy boots months ago, and they all look just nasty to me. Sweatshirts hanging over their hands. It looked like it's just been worn 5-6 weeks straight without being in a washing machine or a dryer. Just nasty. Nobody's wearing a brassiere. I said, I ain't never seen a bunch of women that can't stand bras.
I know. I put a bra on the minute I wake up.
I mean, I ain't never seen folks who go outside and don't wear a bra ever. You don't ever think about putting on a brassiere. And you stand out in the cold, 20-degree weather, talking to some people over some shit you done already repeated 1,000 times. I just told myself, look at this. They don't even have the decency enough to say, hey, would you like to come inside the house? So you talk to Chris Madonna on a front porch in the heat, in the 100-degree heat. And then in the winter, here comes some other YouTubers. Oh, y'all gonna stand outside in the damn cold. You think I'm gonna stand out here and talk to you and hold a damn cell phone for an hour or two, and it's damn 20 degrees outside?
Their house is probably disgusting.
Well, but courtesy is to invite them in. Hey, would you like to come in? You know they had to give her advance warning they were coming to Tennessee. So if somebody called you today and say, hey, we're going to be in Tennessee tomorrow, can we talk to you around 12 noon or 6 o'clock in the evening? You got time enough to straighten your house.
Yeah, of course.
Unless it's just ugly, filthy, and you need, a 10-day cleanup. But I'm not going to stand outside in no damn cold and talk to you about something I've already discussed with Chris Madonna. Or what else can you repeat about Candace and Don and the child and the other children? How many times you gonna repeat?
Why they spoke to Chris to begin with?
And why? Same story over and over and over, just repeating the same BS. And I mean, they ran them videos all winter. Each day was a new upload to something they said to these people. Then now you got this other one. He jumping out of a clown car with all these renditions from the winter. And I just told myself, I've never seen nothing like it before in my life. You're not talking about nothing.
No, they're just talking about the same stuff they had already talked about.
And I mean, and they all up in these people's peripheral and face and underwear like they are FBI agents. and press. The press.
Yeah,
Press. I love it.
They say, I love it when they say, yeah, I got my press pass. Girl, you are not real press. Get out of here.
No, you got a messy boots pass that you walked up and got in somebody's inbox. That's not the press going in somebody's inbox. But hey,
the FBI don't
if this is what toot your horn to be up talking all day on a cell phone and a computer, knock yourself out. But I wouldn't even be bothering those folks over there in Kingsport, Rogersville, and nowhere else. If it's not pertaining to Summer, where you can give me vital information with a receipt pertaining to the disposition of the child and the interaction between the child and yourself, to something that's tangible. Because in the end, it's still your version. Still your version.
Yeah, when they went and they found Dudley, what was the point of that? Dudley was only an employee. What was he going to bring to the table?
Say what, honey?
Remember when they went and they interviewed Dudley and his wife?
Yeah.
I thought to myself, what the hell is that even about?
Nothing.
Like, what is the point
Just
of
something,
that?
just something new to add to a fable. To a fable. This is a fable. This is a $2 fable about a little girl missing out of the holler. That's all it is, a $2 fable. Let me tell you about this. I used to work with the daddy. He did this. He said this. He owed me money. Blah, 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 blah. Give you a brief synopsis of what the children look like one day and what the mama looked like. Well, we already know what the mama looked like. We done seen what Candace looked like. We've seen videos of them in church. We've seen videos of the child running around. We've seen videos of what the children look like. We've seen pictures of the children. So what is the secret? Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Everybody and their mama jumping out. Boy H, father coming out. Tooting his YouTube channel. Allie, the grandmama, other friends, Sherry, just one person after the other. And in the end, 13 months in later, all these clown cars, a reward now going to court and still no somewhere else. Just absolutely nothing.
Law enforcement's done a very good job of keeping this very quiet on their end.
Yeah. Well, I wish they'd say something.
They haven't even let a little inkling out. Nothing.
I just wish they'd say something. I'm tired of this. I hate to see this. Just like what Vinnie Politan said, you know, man, imagine going another year. We're already a year in. We're now 13 months in. So now imagine 4 more months, 5 more months, be right back at a damn 2-year mark.
Yeah, it's sad. I hope it's not that way.
Yeah, because I can't imagine. I didn't think I would be still talking about her missing year 1. And it's disturbing. And so we have another case coming up this month pertaining to Cal City. That will be going to trial. Look how long it took for that, a whole year. And these people knew they were dead the whole time, which is very disturbing to me.
Crazy.
And that's a video I need to do as well. I might do that one later.
That's going to be very interesting. What transpires from that? I really hope that, you know, when this trial does start, that we'll be able to get information on it.
Information on what?
You know, like what's going on in the trial.
So what, I mean, I don't understand what you're saying. Being public.
What's going on in the courtroom? Like what goes on in the courtroom?
Well, somebody will tell it. They'll do like they do R. Kelly. If it's not publicized, they'll just do drawings and tell you who acted up, who showed out, who fell out. And will there be any other arrests? How about that?
I hope so. I was thinking Miss Wanda would be puffed up right now.
Somebody. See, that's a dangerous situation right there. If you knew that they killed those kids week 1 and you handed it over to Bakersfield, why in the world did you not tell the public you knew they killed those kids and that the kids were also dead? Because if somebody confessed to helping kill the children and discard the children or have knowledge of where the children discarded or discarded in general, how in the world could you let that go a whole year? Then question number 2 is, when did they stop seeing their biological children and adoptive children? Because that's going to be even more heinous if we find out everybody knew the children were dead and the state knew and still allowed them to have access to their damn kids. Lord have mercy. What in the world?
Yep.
I may wait to do a video on that information a day or 2 before the 25th. if they don't postpone that, put it off something else, if they're not ready, their attorneys.
I hope they're ready. I hope they're ready to rock and roll.
I won't doubt if they're ready.
Something tells me they're not, but I think it's going to get postponed
Yeah. They'll probably tell the judge, we're not ready to press forward. We have more investigating we need to do. But they were wrong to let this go a whole year and not tell the public that they believe the children to be dead.
3 months prior. So that means they were murdered over there in that apartment?
Possibly.
That's horrible.
Or murdered at that new house. One of the two. Or both. I don't know. That's a video in itself. Where were the children murdered?
Yeah, that.
Anybody else going to get arrested? Where were the children murdered? Where are the children discarded? Where are the children killed the same day? Where are the children discarded same day? I mean, the questions are endless. Damn.
Every time you turn around, you can come up with a new question.
That's what I'm saying. You can make a video per question because you don't have any answers. But I'm telling you, you cannot logically explain knowing that they're dead a year before and never told the public that they are dead. So that defeats the purpose of all this, hoopla about where they are, which we need to know where they are, but it's contradictory. If you know that they're dead, it's kind of like, well, okay, so why don't you tell us they're dead? And then we could just say, hey, give us information if you think you know where they are. But we know that they're dead. We just need to know where the remains are, not finding them alive. Because there are still people who were thinking that they were alive, hoping that they were alive. Because everybody had their own idea of where they thought the children were. Human traffic, sold, blah, blah, blah. All this time, them damn kids were dead. Man, they were dead before they even, allegedly, the parents moved into the house. Cal City. It's very disturbing.
They've been gone for a while, poor things.
It's just, you can't explain even the judicial system. You're just as trifling as the parents, and then people want to blame DHS, and that's why I said we got to see if DHS has any fault as far as letting them see their kids, knowing that the kids were dead, letting them see their other children. I'm going to really have a problem with that. That comes out. DHS knew that the boys were dead too, because law officials had to be working in cahoots with the Department of Human Services.
Yeah,
that's why I get so sick of these cases, because in the end, it all goes back to their mangy ass parents. That's what people don't seem to understand. One thing begets another. If the children had decent families, we wouldn't be talking about them. Period. Missing, dead, adoptive, foster care, none of that. Because everybody has to have a start. And yes, you're hoping that a child goes into foster care or adopted, they will have decent people to take care of them. And naturally, there's no guarantee because you don't know the mindset of people. People lie all the time. People lie on applications all the time. Yeah, I'm going to do good. Yeah, I'm going to be the best stock person or cashier. Yeah, I can't wait to work for you. Yeah, I need a job. That doesn't mean that when they get the job that they're going to do well in the job.
yeah.
Anybody can lie on a document and say, I'm going to be the best such and such, such and such. Yes, I want this job. Yes, I'm going to do right. I'm going to follow protocol. But you get the job don't mean you like it. It don't mean the people that work with you like you. And yet people still stay in a position because they need the work. But it don't mean they like the job. Don't mean that they're perfecting the job well.
Nope, they lie their ass on the application.
Exactly. I want these children because I love children. I'm not going to tell you the truth. Hey, I just want the fucking money. I'm going to starve the kid, abuse the kid, not dress the kid. I'm not going to take good care of the kid. Who's going to tell you that application? I just want the money. I'm going to lock the child up in a closet or basement and pretend to be a good parent, foster parent, adoptive parent. Who's going to tell that? Nobody. People don't tell you that when they're abusing their own damn children. Yeah, I got the kid locked up in a closet, a cage. They're being abused mentally, physically, verbally, sexually. Hey, where's your kid? Oh, he's at his aunt's house. And they're not telling you the truth. Hell, yeah, I murdered that kid 5 days ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I let my boyfriend beat my baby to death, and my baby's now buried in the backyard or over there on 15th Street in a dumpster.
You know, and my thing is who the hell would be giving those two people more kids at their age?
Well, they did, but they did. But
they
they did, and that's the gist of the story. They can't argue a criteria for the age because obviously the state didn't have a criteria for the age to take in foster children or adoption.
That is so crazy.
Maybe they need to ante up the number of the age before fostering and adoption. I think California probably will change that. If they don't change anything, that's something maybe they should reconsider. I think all states should consider appropriate age for fostering and adoption.
Yeah.
And once again, there's still not going to be no guarantee that if you put it at 25 or 30, that the mindset is right. Because you could still be, they could say, well, from now on, you have to be 30 years old to foster and or adopt. Well, you still could be a rotten 30-year-old human being. You could be a sinister abuser, child molester, whatever, at 30, 35.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids for somebody, you know.
Well, that's what Vicky Parental said a few months ago. He was like, you know, he said in a very diplomatic fashion, it's hard for me to see somebody that young in their early 30s with that many children. But let's flip the script. There are a lot of 30-year-olds that's got 5 or 6 children that are their own. You got folks 22, 23, got 4 or 5 damn kids they gave birth to. So it's really not no shock that a 32 and a 34-year-old had 6 children, either their own or somebody else's. Because people have babies every day and they're young. You know, 19-year-old got 3 or 4 fucking kids and she had a baby starting at 16. It's a lot of people who have a lot of children.
It's a lot of work to have a lot of kids, very young kids.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want a lot of children. I don't. Especially a young person. I can't see why in your right mind you would want to lie down, either supply the sperm or the egg, and you're 18, 19. I don't care if you're 25. Why the hell would you want a baby back to back, back to back, back to back? You just gave birth and you're knocked up on your 6-week appointment, or 2 months later, you're already knocked up. You can't make me understand that.
Yeah, that's crazy. The minute one comes out, you're pregnant.
Yeah, you're pregnant before your 6-week checkup.
Yeah, you see a lot of people that do that.
I know. A lot of children.
I think that shit is way too. That is a lot of work, man.
But they don't think of it like that because they don't want to use birth control. The women don't want to use birth control. They're too honorary to take a pill or IUD or a shot. The men don't want to use a condom. So here come all these babies back to back, back to back. And then you start hearing these horrible stories of child neglect, child abuse. And this is how it starts. It's because, one, the parents didn't want to be parents in the first place, but they kept the child. And this is why I keep telling people, don't judge somebody because they gave their child up, because a lot of people keep their children, but they don't want their kids. They just don't want the shame of giving their baby up. But a lot of people don't want their kids. And you hear people saying to their children down the road, I never wanted you. I didn't want to keep you. I didn't ask for you. I don't like you. I hate you. They just kept the child as not to be shamed by the public. There are lots of people right now got kids they don't want. And I tell people, don't ever get it twisted. Because you see somebody walking around with their baby in their arm, or the little boy following their mommy in the grocery store, or the daddy's got the baby out at the ballpark. Don't think they actually want their damn kids. Because a lot of people don't want their children.
No, not at all. Not these days anyway.
Yeah, there are a lot of people with kids, they don't want their kids. And that's why you have problems with children bonding with their parents, because the parents obviously never took to bonding with the child and or don't know how to be a parent. And so they feel stuck with their kids. A lot of people have felt that way. I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, or this isn't for me. And that's the whole point. There is no guidebook into how to be a great parent, how to be a great grandparent. And that's the thing people don't understand. There are lots of people with children. The parents will tell you, I ain't a good parent. I don't want to be their parent. I don't want to be their mother or father. I didn't want that second or third child. The men will tell you, but they won't put a condom on because they want to feel that freshness, skin to skin contact. So 30 minutes of having sex versus 18 years of you trying to be a good parent, attempting to be a good parent, paying child support. It's all for what? And that's the reason why people don't bond. They don't want the kids. That's why these men don't want these children. They don't attempt to be a father. They don't want them. Hello, everybody in the chat. They don't want the kids. They don't want the kids. That's why you see all these men with all these babies. Because they love having sex and don't want to use a condom. Then they're complaining years later when somebody files paperwork on them as the father of the child or demanding a DNA test. Now you got a problem. How do you have a problem? You didn't have a problem when you was out there screwing. Now you mad because you got a kid you got to take care of and somebody's garnishing your wages. Well, put a condom on. You don't want her anyway. You just want to have sex with her. You're not trying to have a relationship with her. So my thing is, how can you get mad because your penis went inside somebody's vagina? You understand what I'm saying?
You got no damn brain.
But that's stupid. Just having sex with different women. She gets knocked up pregnant because neither of you are using birth control. And now you're mad because somebody's saying, hey, I need you to come into court and take a DNA test. And then the DNA says 99.999999 infinity. Infinity. And now you're mad. So why are you mad? And the woman, same thing. You're mad because what? You didn't want to take a birth control pill. You didn't want to take some form of birth control. Health departments offer it free. And yet you say hell to the no. But now you're overstressed because you've got baby after baby after baby. You don't know how you're going to pay your bills. You don't know how you're going to take care of these children. All of these things that come with having a child when you could have just said, damn, I'm getting ready to go take this free birth control, have all the free sex I want without a condom or whatever, however you want to do it, without. He don't use a condom, but I'll take the birth control pill, or I'll take the IUD, or I'll take the shot, the depot. Whatever. You have all the sex you want. May risk catching a venereal disease, but that's your business. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And I hate to see young people with children back to back, baby after baby after baby.
Yep, they're a lot of work. They need a lot of time, bonding.
You're a young person. You should want your life. You should want a full life at 18 and over. You should want to travel, go to school, get a trade, enjoy your life, not be knocked up with children, babies, having babies with the wrong man, or vice versa, man making babies with the wrong female. You're dealing with all this crazy nonsense of, vandalism and fighting, and you can't date the new chick because now the old chick's mad that you got a new chick and she ain't got no kids, or God forbid you dating a girl that's got kids and then you're not taking care of your own kids. See, if you keep your britches up and don't put your pee-pee out there and she don't put her sugar mama out there, you won't have these problems. I'm just saying. Because there's some young people, they got their game tight. They're going to school, they're getting an education, they're living, they're traveling, they're donating their time to charity, and they know how to go take a birth control pill. They know how to remember to take the pill. They know to go get their 3-month shot. They know to put a condom on because they don't want no kids. They want to live, have fun, and enjoy their lives. And that's what you should want for yourself as a young person. You should not want to be out here having children. Go live your life. And when you decide to have a child, you know that you have decent income coming in. You're in the right frame of mind mentally. And you've chosen a partner who is also on the same page either dating and or married. I prefer you to be married. I think people should be married when they have children. But either way, know that you are physically and mentally stable to bring a child here without assistance from Peter, Paul, Job, the state, all of that. And then you have your baby. But that's the thing. Even when you think you got it together and ready to have a child, and you think you've got the right mate, anything can go bump in the night. The mate can decide he don't want you no more. Or you can decide you don't want him no more. Now you got a baby in the oven. Now you got a baby walking around. See what I'm saying? Because there are no guarantees when it comes to this thing called life. And people don't understand that. That's why you need to plan things. Can't just hop up, well, yeah, I got pregnant. Yeah, he the baby daddy. Yeah, I don't really like him. Yeah, he don't come around. Yeah, he quit calling when he found out I was pregnant. See, everything's good so long as she ain't saying she's pregnant. But then when she's pregnant, it's, oh, well, it ain't mine. Better call Maury Povich because it ain't mine. Oh, so she's good enough to have sex with, but she ain't good enough when she's pregnant. See, I got a problem with that. So we can go on and on for hours. The sex is great. She's a pretty girl. I like her. She smells good. She got it going on. Oh, I don't like her. Now she's pregnant. She's a thought. She's a whore. She's a this. She's the community this. But she was good enough to have sex with. See, this is why the world is so jacked up. People's ideologies. See, everything changes when a person gets pregnant. A woman gets pregnant. Everybody shifts. Everybody shifts. Oh, no, she's pregnant. Oh, my goodness. Now the baby daddy, he's nowhere to be found. Parents are disappointed, some of them. Plans are put on the back burner because now we're knocked up. See, this is why you don't have no children when you're not ready to have them. I don't recommend nobody out here, I don't care what your age is, have a child when you're ready to have a child. And make sure whoever you're lying down with is a good prospect. They're respectful. They know how to talk. They know how to hold a conversation. They don't talk bad about women. They're not in trouble with the law. They're not on the run. They're not out here breaking the law, because that's not something you need as a mate for a child or a mate, period. But like I said, we all make mistakes. But I talk to young people vigorously. Honey, live your life. Don't go out here making no children and you don't want no children. Don't go out here picking up people that you know don't mean you no damn good. They don't know how to treat you. They don't have no respect for you, because you don't want to be a story. You don't want to be a news story, and you definitely don't want to be a damn YouTube video. And because of the choices people make, it's how they become news stories and then YouTube videos. And people don't think about that. It's sad. Say what, honey?
Oh, nothing. My kids are talking.
Okay. I'm not going to hold you because I done ran over my time. Well, and that doesn't keep a man having a child. The only time you can keep a man because you had a child is if you have a weak man that decides to feel sorry and stay with you only because he has children with you. Now, some will say he's noble, but it's never noble to be with somebody just because you have a baby with them. And women do it all the time. They stay in relationships because they got a baby or babies with a man because they want to keep a father. And then there's some men who want to do the right thing and stay with a woman because there's a child with her or stay in a marriage. I don't recommend staying with anybody because you have a child, because one, you're not happy. Two, the other person probably is not going to be happy. Three, at some point your children are going to realize the parents aren't happy. So who's winning? And I don't want somebody being with me just to feel sorry for me. You understand what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to stay with her because I got a baby with her. But they really don't want the woman. Well, how is that beneficial? Huh?
They're miserable. It becomes a toxic environment.
Yeah, that's the point. Everybody's going to be miserable because you're not happy in the decision that you've made. So how are you going to be happy? How is the woman going to be happy? And how is the children going to be happy? Because nobody in the circle is getting what they want. Everybody is happiness is about to be short-lived with a bunch of stage performers, actors. I'm acting, pretending this man loves me, hoping he'll love me, but he don't. Then he's pretending to love her, care for her, only because she's got children with him. Then he's unhappy because he really don't want to be married or in a relationship, but he's only doing it for the children. And then the children are hoping that everybody's happy to their benefit. And they got their mommy and daddy, but they're seeing signs that mommy and daddy don't get along and they're not happy. That's just a vicious cycle. And then you're teaching your children a lie to make somebody else happy, to forfeit their own happiness for somebody else. And we know people do it every day, but it's not recommended because somebody's going to come up short. And you see this all the time with these stories that end up making the news. People making bad decisions in relationships, courtships. Then they start abusing their children, hurting their children, and the children end up being the ultimate sacrifice lamb. Well, that's what you have with Cal City, Evelyn Boswell, Summer Wells, Camille McKinney, Taylor Rose. It's all the same. The sacrificial lamb. And lambs, plural. They have paid the price for poor parenting. And they can't come back. And sadly, there's somebody else's child out there who needs a better parent, better parents, better family members. And it's only a matter of time that said children will also become a news story and a YouTube video. That's the jacked up part of the story. It's that there will be another child today. Sacrifice. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna check out of here.
Okay, have a good one.
You too, honey. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That was Kinsley Masters, my mod. It's almost 3 hours in. Thank you all so much for following the content. As I said at the beginning of this video, Casey White has been charged in the death of Vicky White, the deputy that aided him out of a jail in Alabama. Okay? And that's the said information. Lord, what is going on? So she's sending me something. Okay, that's okay. She's down. She down with my mistake. He's been charged in the death of Vicky White. The coroner says, medical examiner, that she killed herself. But Lauderdale District Attorney is saying, we found 12 members of a grand jury to say he caused her death. Now, how they were able to come to this agreement, these people, is very strange to me. I don't know how. Because the medical examiner says she shot herself, suicide. But Alabama law says they were together. She aided him on the run. And in the commission of him being on the run, this crime took place while he was on the run. She was in his company, and whether she killed herself or not, he's responsible. As I told you all in the chat, weigh in, yes or no. You believe that Casey White should be charged in Vicky White's death. I will put it up on my community board, and you can say yes or no. You don't have to give an explanation to why. Just say yes or no. I want to thank you for joining me, following the content. New subscribers, welcome. Old subscribers, old viewers, new viewers, welcome. Thank you so much for your patronage. If you'd like to donate to the channel, for Everyday Shenanigans in the Dream, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All stickers, chats are welcome during my lives. I'm going to check out of here. You all have a wonderful week. What's left of it. Happy weekend to those of you who have plans. Please stay cool and hydrated. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Don't feel like you are meddling in someone's business if it's pertaining to the neglect and abuse of a child. Do the right thing and call law enforcement, because you may just save a life. Prayers for Summer Wells and her brothers. Prayers for the Cal City boys. We get a resolution this month when the trial starts July 25th. I will bring you information pertaining to that if anything changes. So remember, put that in your Rolodex, July 25th, the start of the trial against Jacqueline and Giselle West. 13 months to the date tomorrow. Summer Wells went missing allegedly out of Rogersville, Tennessee. This was a live chopping up that disappearance. Naturally, we ventured into other said commentary pertaining to the well-being of children and parents. If you're not in a place where you feel like you can raise your child, do the right thing and hand the baton over to somebody else and pray that they will do right by you and the child to rear your child, be it by a family member, parent, adoption agency, foster care, whatsoever. Prayers for our children that are in foster care. Prayers for parents and relatives and friends and those said parties that take care of children that are not able to stay in the care of their parents for whatever reason. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.